Welcome to session 13 of Novo. Thank you for joining us. We return to the growing platform of Camarilla Securities Incorporated just off the coast of Los Angeles. It's the early morning on March 22nd. It's been about 2 weeks since our last session in real life, both and in game.
Huzzah! I get paid.
So, I'm going to follow up with each of you individually on some of the projects you've been working on from last time. As I recall, Wyatt has been poring over the laboratory and waiting of the delivery of the NMR device, the nuclear magnetic resonance, which arrived yesterday. It looks like a giant tin pressure chamber that's completely smooth and chrome around the surface and has giant sort of rubber pipes coming out from the sides of it. It has all sorts of warning about not touching it, and you know from your experience that it's going to have to be super cooled. It does have a fair amount of coolant in the form of helium that's been sent over in pressurized tanks. Right now, the challenge for you has been finding a place to put it. When you woke up, it had just sort of arrived in the sick bay, and unfortunately there wasn't a room enough in there with it in there to actually treat anyone. So for right now, you've actually got it in your quarters. Um, it's working as well as can be expected, and you wanted, as I recall, to try and reverse engineer Zyme, correct?
See.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a chemistry roll, if you can, please.
Okay, just checking my sheet. Okay. Not the greatest. Yay! Passed by one. Needed 12, got an 11.
Okay. In combination of running the drug through the nuclear magnetic resonance machine and just surfing around online for whatever general information you can find before it arrived, you know that the name Zyme bespeaks the word enzyme, something that you're very familiar with, a protein that catalyzes a chemical reaction. Zyme is still sold on the dark web, and it's sometimes sold as a probiotic. What seems to be the most popular website is called the Garden of Life that sells it. Most of the research, the NIH research and others, is embargoed. And that is not true of many other drugs. You know that it's true of more modern drugs, one that were invented sort of after about 2020. Before that, I mean, you have no problem finding out how meth is made, for example, but not so much. It's not so easy with this drug. Um, but most enthusiasts believe that Zyme is produced through fermentation, either of bacteria or yeast, you're not sure, which means that you're going to need two things: generative culture and the appropriate chemical precursors. And so that's what you're trying to do as you slide your samples into the NMR. And you said you succeeded by one, yes?
Yes.
Okay. With your success, you show the telltale smearing in the alcohol group of NMR. So whatever it is, you know that it has alcohol proteins attached to it. Could suggest a yeast of some kind that's been used. But what's interesting is that you're very familiar from your medical experience of what um, deoxyribonucleic acid looks under NMR, and there isn't even a trace of it in any of the samples that you found. And it's very typical for drugs to have taggant chemicals, a little bit of detergent in there, you know, that have made their way in there. And if this was cultured from bacteria, the fact that you weren't able to find a bacteria in it, very unusual. This probably all of the samples that you have could have come from a lab for it to be that pristine, or whoever, or it just might mean that it's so difficult to make that whoever is legally has an operation like that is very precise and doesn't want the bacteria to get out there.
Okay.
And as a private note, one of the ways that you might help you further reverse engineer it is to study the biological effects, either in rodents or in humans, though with psychoactives, human test subjects are usually preferable.
So how much do I have, or how much of this stuff do I still have remaining?
You bought like a case of it last time, didn't you?
Okay.
So I think we can say you could have half of that, you know, maybe 10 or so samples.
Okay, sure. Grog dropped out.
It happens. I'd also like to point out to the ladies and gentlemen, behold, a successful GM check on their lab assistant job experience.
Yeah, you threw a lot of stuff I do get. I just don't understand entirely. So
What don't you understand? I'll try and explain it some
no, no,
more.
no. It's not that. It's like the rebuff, whatever. Okay. Like I get
Okay.
it, but yeah, I'm not writing down notes on it. I was gonna do that, then I was like, uh, okay,
I think it's probably mostly just fluff anyways until you
yeah,
actually get the engineering down.
yeah.
But if you have any questions, I'm assuming it's all ICly for you, so feel free to ask me anytime.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
Grog, are you back with us?
Yar.
Okay. Let's cut over to the oil processing platform, or the former oil processing platform, I should say. The power depletion warning hovers in the edge of your vision as it has countless times before. Changing the cells has become a thrice daily ritual for you for as long as you can remember, but you still detest the brief moments of vulnerability. Taking a heavy seat outside of the processing platform turned barracks, you reach into your chest cavity and remove the dead cell. You notice a small dusting of corrosion around the anode, too small for human eyes to perceive, but more than enough to merit disciplinary action if one of CSI's soldiers allowed the same to happen to their own augmentations. You note that this has been happening more frequently, as you perform a quick, almost reflexive statistical analysis of previous replacements, which quickly confirms your suspicion at a confidence of 95%. Reaching into your belongings, you pull out a collapsible toothbrush. Its nylon fiber send a thrill down your spine as the bristles contact the leads inside of your chest cavity. You calmly finish changing in a fresh biocell as you peer through the windows of the makeshift barracks that have been constructed for the Camarilla candidates to be. Even by military standards, the room is incredibly Spartan. The mattresses are thin and threadbare and had to be provided on request. In the corner of the room, your eyes scan and zoom in on something new. It looks to be a small makeshift chess set carved out of soap bars. The board's still set to a game in progress. It's 5 a.m. and time for morning drills. I'll let you take it over from here.
Well, of course, I open the door quietly as I can. Does anyone notice when I come in as I roll my stealth dice?
Let's see here.
And
Get out
I
the
come
old
in at
dice tower.
5:03 because I always come in at a random time.
Nice. I knew you'd be good at this. They might have stayed up last night. You're not sure. It's pretty typical for one of them to be up and waiting at 5 a.m., but today they are all out.
Alright, so I come in with a stealth of 7, under. I don't have any augmentations or anything else going, just regular stealth. I pick up the trash can, pick up my monowire staff, flip it over to the end that doesn't have the monowire on it, flip the lights open, bang the ever-loving hell out of the trash can, yelling, "Lights, lights, lights!" and then toss the trash can into the room.
Okay. Awesome. I'm just going to see here to make sure everybody wakes up. Okay. All right. Jesus Christ, one of the men says as he like scrambles and does the dabba thing with his feet, and he's like up, but his discipline kicks in, and he straightens his back and stands at attention at the foot of his bed, as you would expect. Ace reacts a little bit more confidently. He just sort of sits up in one fluid motion and rests his hands beside him. However, there's still a couple of heads asleep, sound asleep, in fact, in the far end of the room.
Well, boys, looks like we get to have fun again this morning. Who's got their bar of soap ready?
The men groan as they look over at the table.
Oh, you don't have soap? Well, that means from now on, whoever fails to wake up gets beaten with locks and socks.
You hear the muttering from one of the guys as two of the others that have been groggily asleep stare at you through bleary eyes, and then a look of fear crosses their face as they stumble up to their feet. One of them trips over the bed sheets as they do so.
Back down. You weren't up in time.
One of the men looks confused for a moment and obediently sits back down on the bunk.
Alright, everyone, get the blanket sheets, and then we have an old-fashioned blanket party.
Right. And with military precision, the men engage in the old fraternal ritual. They tie the end of their green-colored threadbare bed sheets together. The soap contacts the flannel and leaves smear marks all over it, but they tie it into a nice knot, and pretty soon they have a bludgeoning weapon. They wait for your order.
And 30 seconds begin.
You hear the cries of pain radiating out from the side of the bed, but you don't react in any way. It doesn't reach your somewhat distant sense of emotions. And in 30 seconds on the nose, the men stop. As they part, you can see that the soldier that was left behind is visibly bruised. Even on the surface of his darker colored skin, it's obvious that welts have crept up. No serious damage. Doesn't look like they broke any bones on initial scans.
I'm gonna mark down in my personal log to buy more soap because I don't actually want them beating each other with locks. That breaks bones. It's
You
the
make a
threat.
mental note of this in your info link. Buy more soap.
All right, gentlemen, it's 5:03. I hope you've had a nice night's rest. We're going for the 10-mile run, as is normal for every day. All of those over 50, I expect you to be not the last ones done. And I just kind of like stare at Ace, like for a second too long, and then look around at the others, trying to pinpoint anyone else that I might know.
There are definitely some other familiar figures here that were once part of a group you recognized back in your days in France.
Alright, so teams will be today, and I'm going to pick those guys specifically out and put them in a single team.
Mhm.
Alright, everyone, start your laps while I get the fire range started.
Sir, yes, sir, a chorus runs through the men obediently. They're fully awake now. And as their shirts and bare feet hit the morning air, they wake up even more. They've begun running their rounds.
So I go ahead and I've set up the firing range from one end of the platform to the other.
Okay?
I don't expect everyone to bullseye, but I expect everyone to hit the target. Just the cardboard cutout. It doesn't matter where, just somewhere on the cardboard cutout. Because this is an oil rig and it's fairly damn big.
The one beaten with the soap comes in last, you note, favoring one leg as he does so. In the initial parts of the run, he had to sort of jump up in one motion and limp along, but it's eventually his endorphins kicked in, and he seems to be running on it fine now. The rest of the soldiers approach the open crate of guns quizzically.
Alright, so today is firing day. I want you to pick your favorite weapon. I want you to name it, as always. And I would like you to tell me the name when you're done firing. When you have found a gun that you can hit the target with all 20 shots, you may keep it.
You see, you catch a look of familiar glee in Ace's eyes. He opens up the crate like a kid on Christmas. He reaches in and sorts through a few of the weapons before pulling out a black automatic. "M4, sir," he says, as he looks down the edge of the barrel and inspects his weapon.
Very good. But I would prefer a female name for you men and male names for you females. Begin firing when ready.
Right, let's see how they do. Ace doesn't score a bullseye, but assuming you're using the type of targets that have a torso painted to it, he does hit somewhere near the shoulder with the initial 3-round burst. Let's see. The next soldier does a little bit better, scoring a headshot and a shot in the center of the targets. And the others do surprisingly well as well. Seems the crisp morning air in the oceans of the oil platform has woken up their senses.
Oh my god, we have all hit the targets this morning. Guess what that means, gentlemen?
They know better than to respond.
Instead of running tonight, we get to have dessert.
They sort of look at each other for a moment, and one of them goes, "Yeah, what's dessert?" They wonder.
Alright, so the next part of the day's training is going to be having them low crawl from one end of the platform to the other.
Okay.
I'm working the cardiovascular system today. Tomorrow it's going to be muscle training.
Right.
And then
Standard
the
stuff.
third day is going to be augmentation training, as well as augmentation, refitting, resizing, and all that.
Cool, I like it. Space is in short supply on the oil platform, but barbed wire is not, and it's fairly easy to construct a muddy, rainwater slick, suitably unpleasant obstacle course for the troops.
I do
Justin, are
not,
you with
however,
us?
more feces in it.
I am with you.
No feces, yeah, I'll make a note of that. You see the familiar shouting at the ungodly hour of 5:03. Another morning spent without sleep, unfortunately for you. And you
Hmm.
thank goodness you're not one of the soldiers, as you can see them crawling through barbed wire and being put through their motions. It's perhaps best, however, that you are awake, as soon a call comes in from a now familiar unknown source. Good morning, Bertan. I hope I didn't wake you.
No, no. Um, how are you?
Well, I wish I was better. I have some news for you. The first is good. Silhouette has relayed their gratitude to us after you provided them with access to their bot network, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
I am pleased to say it has already been used by one of their number to escape the Academy forces in Paris. This has exposed the network, but given the level of influence of the Duclair family, we believe it was well worth it. It is because of this that we come to you and to your company with a new request, if you are interested,
Hmm.
Bertan.
Well, go on. I'm listening.
Well, how do I put it? You may recall when we spoke 2 weeks ago that Janus and I have been attempting to contact one Gary Savage, the leader of a small breakaway group of scientists now seeking shelter at the abandoned Vandenberg Air Force Base. Not far
Mm-hmm.
from you, in fact. This base is a relic of the United States' shuttle program. At first we thought they were simply uninterested in companies such as ours, but after a week of silence we decided to have a look at their network. They are still using the MILNet protocols, but avoiding detection was not a priority for us. We were strangely unable to gain access to their communications network. Their protocols have changed recently, perhaps in response to our prodding. Nor have we been able to decrypt the traffic they have been sending. But we do know where the packets are being sent to. A few of them we recognize as Nine-Eyes fronts, which they don't know that we are familiar with. The rest of these nodes are now under suspicion. Either their security has been compromised by their former employees, or one of their number is having second thoughts. We require the use of field services to gain answers to these questions.
Mm-hmm. Sounds particularly interesting. So, what is the specifics? What do you specifically want?
Well, I will forward you some data on the base, assuming their acceptance. We would like to get as much information as you can from Dr. Savage about why he left Area 51, and what the US government has been up to during his time there. Because of their initial reluctance to communicate with us, this may be difficult, but he may be in a place more willing to compromise now that he has seen what his foes are capable of. If he is still alive, forward him the following private key. If his communications are working, he will be able to use it to contact Janus.
Hmm. Excellent. Well, I shall put this down on. What was the location where the packets were being delivered to again?
There are a number of nodes routed to various onion router proxies. They are all over the world, but we recognize them as a common source, and they only come from Nine Nice companies and their bases.
Hmm.
Are
Well,
you
we'll see.
familiar with the Nine Nice program?
Um, Catch me up.
It evolved out of the old Five Eyes spy network, which was the former Anglo surveillance network headed by the NSA in the United States. And now it includes other major nations with the rise of Asia. It is the largest spying organization in the world.
Yeah, interesting. Well, let's see if we can try and make some better contact with Mr. Savage.
I must warn you, this is a dangerous task. One of our most advanced collaborators went in alone. Communications were cut short 53 minutes ago, not long after you reported a heavy bot presence on the ground. You are less than 2 hours away by helicopter, however, and it may not be too late.
Yeah. Well, then we definitely need to get a move on. I'm going to see if I can grab a couple of friends of mine for this little trip and see what progress we can make.
Thank you for your help, Breton. I will forward you our agent's field reports and maps.
Well, I know one of my people is up. So let's go have a chat with the giant killer robot.
Thank you, Breton. I leave the rest to you. And the line goes dead.
Now, I'll make my way to R9 once. I don't know if he's ever going to give these people a breather.
You hear, by the time I finish my coffee, you will begin stage 2 of training. And then I'd start drinking a cup of coffee.
Morning.
Good morning, Winston.
Yes. You're going to be busy for the next few hours. I could deal with some assistance with the task.
No, I have some competent people in the group that can lead the training while I'm gone.
Well, I've got some of the details I needed for a bit of a shore mission to go make contact with an important individual.
All right.
It's going to be tricky, and we potentially also have one compromised agent to go and potentially get the hell out of Dodge. Sounds like your cup of tea?
Yep.
Excellent.
Sounds like I'm going to have fun today. Not that making these fine, young, and slightly older, and some downright ancient gentlemen and ladies competent isn't fun.
Excellent. Well, let's go have a chat with Sasori, tell them what we're up to, and get ourselves outfitted for the task. We're going to need a helicopter pilot as well.
BR, I'm going to leave, what was his name? Ace?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave Ace and the guy that was really good with the assault rifle in charge for now. While I'm
Ace
out.
is the gentleman with the assault rifle, so that keeps it simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to also PM Silas while I'm at it and ask him if he can get some of his drones online for an infiltration communication mission.
You'll get a reply about 10 minutes later that the first few words look like utter gibberish. Then there's a series of very loud swearing that includes the words, "Why the fuck are you waking me at this ungodly hour, you worthless prick?" And if you ever do this again, I swear I will throw you off the platform. And then he slowly agrees that he can probably get a couple of the drones active, but as they're pretty much going to be effectively scrap built, be thankful if they work at all.
Well, get what you can going. It's up to you whether you want to come with us for the job, or if you just want to remote pilot the drones.
The drones are short access. He wouldn't be able to pilot them effectively all the way from the base.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll hear him get up, and you'll hear a lot of clanking, including what sounds like multiple pans being opened. And then he will like, "Alright, I'll come with you." This stuff needs a while to bubble. By the way, BR, I'm now going to make a roll. It's a chemistry roll. Can you guess what he's working on?
Is it a bomb?
It's explosives.
Okay.
Total of 12.
Against what?
And I fail by 1. Fuck. That's what. That's another batch ruined.
But it doesn't explode.
So
Yeah.
close.
Yes, but you just hear splat, splat, splat. Damn it! and from across the base, you hear pans being thrown in the ocean.
Yeah, the ready-made explosives will probably work, Emu, since they did on arrival, but getting them set up with a trigger seems to elude you. That's the hard part, is getting remote control up and running on these things. And you
Oh
don't
no,
want to
that
use
wasn't
traditional
even. That
spark.
wasn't for the explosives, BR. That was for the chemistry of making them.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was using pots and pans. He was trying to make his own explosives, and
Yeah, I mean, the way that I was going to rule it is that you make something that will go boom, but you weren't able to actually get it into a compact enough form for transport. That
I
works.
actually have the explosive skill separately. Would you like me to roll that as well?
Sure.
So, Bertrand, can you link me my finances sheet, please?
Sure.
Excellent, because I would like to have spent $1 million just so I can actually have a really nice suite of rooms on board this godforsaken oil rig.
But by the way, BR, I succeeded on the explosives check by 2, so I installed the explosives perfectly. The problem is they don't work.
Yeah, the problem is they don't work, but since you failed by a margin of 1, and it's the explosive skill that you succeeded on, I'm going to say that you know that it doesn't work. And you just need more time, you figure.
Yeah, so instead I'm going to basically skive some explosives from the PMC supplies and just try and ration it out to make effective explosives that can be dropped.
The synthetic brain that you recovered from the downed drone-based helicopter, it seems to be made out of a mundane sort of aerogel, in fact. You're not quite sure of the precise chemical synthesis, but it would be extraordinarily difficult for you to engineer in a facility like this one. However, it seems to be mostly an inert substance with electrodes going through it. The interesting part is that when a current is run through parts of it, it hardens in places. You would suggest that that would suggest to you that the drone's brain has the ability to learn in some sense.
How much can I estimate based on this what sort of equipment I would need to be able to properly extrapolate it?
The NMR that came in will be useful for breaking down the chemical structure if you're willing to scalpel out a small sample of the brain.
Is it obvious to me that I can do that? Like, can I take off the smallest side edge bit without damaging any of the stuff inside from what I can see?
You think that you might be able to cut in with a scalpel and miss any of the electrodes, and presumably the gel is inert, so... It's kind of hard to tell because you're working with tech you don't fully understand, of course.
Okay, if you know what sort of equipment, is it possible for me to work out a way of doing it? Let's sort of guess at what things I would need to be able to do it without needing to scalpel away. Or at least to get a better idea of it. Okay. Chemistry I only have an 11 on, and I got bang on 11.
Your probing is somewhat limited because the outside of the brain is covered in a sort of exterior that's filmy and sort of has the consistency of a Band-Aid. It looks at it under a microscope as if it's made out of thousands of tiny, small carbon threads. You reason that's probably pretty good that you didn't just crudely cut into it with a scalpel, as the gel might run out the instant you punctured it. It's going to be pretty difficult to study.
Right. Again, can I work out what sort of stuff I would need? In order to set up a facility.
I won't make you roll chemistry again. You know, assuming that your assumption that it is some sort of aerogel is correct, those are typically whipped together in giant chemical synthesis containers. You don't have any...
I'm essentially thinking would I need MRIs? Would I need X-rays? What sort of equipment can I estimate would be best suited, from what I can tell, to scan this crap? And I failed by 1 on that chemistry check.
And it may be incorrect because you haven't worked with this material before, but you figure you can gain some insight if you got the housing together to form your own aerogels. And now IRL, am not up to date immediately on what that takes, but it would be some more chemical facilities basically would need to be purchased for that.
And what would be the cost of that estimated, Mr. ST Man?
Well, I'll have to look it up later. How's that?
Right.
Sorry, just a quick question on money, Bertrand. What is the in-game date, and has my calendar been set to the correct date?
Yes, it is. I misspoke earlier. It's the 25th of March, and I have indeed updated that.
Because however much it is, he's going to be writing down all the things he thinks he'll need, walking out of the room and shouting, "Mr. Sasori!" and
Has
walking
it been a month? Because I need to collect my paycheck.
It hasn't been a month now. It's been a couple
It has
of
been
weeks.
It has been 2 weeks. Bear in mind, I get paid. But the amount of money I get, it's easier to do it by week to week.
I know. I just need to know. I just need to know when it's a month, so I can add my paycheck in.
So, allow me to get this straight. Sasori is sitting in his lavishly appointed Asian-style room that might or might not someday be converted into a bathhouse when he cheers up. You wish to go gallivanting on another mission for the Juggernaut Collective in order to ascertain information from a scientist in a hostile situation surrounded by, and I quote, possible enemy combatants after the loss of communication from one of their top operatives. Have I summed it up?
More or less, but you also have got the part that this person is an important link in the chain to work against the people that are currently responsible for you not being in your country.
He absent-mindedly shrugs and simply says, "That is all well and good.
Mm-hmm.
What amount have the Juggernaut Collective placed upon this agreement?"
No amount at the moment. This is more something that's useful for us. I was thinking that if you could come with us and convince the individual to actually join us, we would have an excellent head for research and development. We're talking one of the top tier development scientists in the world.
Santo, the other man steps out of the shadows. "Yes, my lord. You will bring this man back to me." "Yes, my lord." Is that
Winston,
all?
You have a physical description and photograph of the man if you do decide you want to share it.
You know what? I actually kind of like the idea of what was going to be just going to talk to him is now suddenly going to go and kidnap him and make him work for us.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly where this has gone, Justin. That guy's being dragged out of there kicking and screaming. Because this is Santo, and Santo don't give no fucks.
Yep, I'm quite happy with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go dust off the Gep gun. We need to get more of those.
God damn it, we've become a Shadowrunner team. We're literally doing corporate kidnapping.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that all the Gep guns will eventually go missing and wind up on the news.
Right.
Today, France has been bombed by what appears to be 149 Gep guns. We're not sure why or how, but France has already surrendered.
We're also not sure as who on earth it would be that would drop a large quantity of firearms out of a plane. We can only assume it was an accident.
Alright, so Sasori is going to pull up the most recent map of the Air Force Base, Bertrand, if that's okay.
Sure.
Can I basically do a kind of a hollow vid so I can, maneuver it and put points on it, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hollow on the infant.
Easy. Justin, did you want to
Interesting.
share any of the information that was sent with you, or are you going to keep that to yourself?
What is the specificness of the information, besides a friendly key to be able to chat to the guy?
You have 2 photographs. You have one picture of the agent, one picture of Gary Savage. You have a old military map of the Vandenberg Air Force Base back when it was still in use, and you have a photograph, presumably provided by the agent earlier in the day, of what the site looks like on the ground.
I need a projector and one of those little photo clip bits, the old-fashioned non-digital style.
You want acetate
Yes.
I
in
don't
the
think
mid
the
21st century.
Yeah. You can order one, but it might be a couple of weeks before it arrives.
No, I believe we'll just include the digital effects.
Okay. All right. You
Right.
hear the whirring sound of a projector as a countdown begins, and
Gentlemen,
Sure.
I've oh wait, we still need the doctor. Go get the doctor. Fine, I'll go get the doctor.
he
No,
doesn't
no,
seem
no.
to be in
I've
the
got it. I've
Yeah.
got this.
Let's
I
face-
attach a bottle of booze onto a fishing pole.
While you're doing that, Sausage just takes his phone. Boop, 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 boop. Bring, 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 bring.
I'm gonna stick the bottle like outside his door and like start slowly reeling it towards me.
Okay, there's some things going on
It's the
that
quest.
I need to know for on BR.
It's a choice between do you go for the alcohol out your door or do you answer the phone?
You guys will know in a second. Yeah, I need to know some things.
Scotch.
Okay. So, you actually succeeded. So, here's what the experience is kind of like, Caleb. You kind of think that you can smell the familiar taste of alcohol, but it doesn't smell appealing to you at the moment. It smells like rubbing alcohol and reminds you of the lab. At the moment,
Okay.
you can kind of see vapor trails in front of your hand, and everything seems kind of slowed down. And you can tell from experience that your
Like
info
20
link
minutes.
is ringing, but it seems distant and far away, as if you were sort of trapped in an echo
Okay.
chamber.
I assume it's a hallucination, and I'm writing down notes on everything that's happening.
Did you take a dose of wine?
Sorry, just
Yes.
by the way, Bertrand, just on the screen there. So Sasori is basically sitting. He's tapping over the. He's tapping, looking at the readout of the Air Force Base. I'm giving it the. I'm using I wanted to use tactical analysis or analysis tactics. In order to basically see how I would go about getting into this building, how well defended is this base, essentially.
Nice. I'm going to give you an experience point for that.
Good,
Pull
good.
it up here.
And Sasori succeeds by
we can include it in the briefing.
2 on his roll. He got a 12. His threshold is 14.
Okay. The map that you get of the exterior of the base is not perhaps quite as useful as the ones that Winston provided. His are more like schematics. This is more of a building plan. It's got more details, but also lots of irrelevant information. However, with the success on your roll, and you know that this base was once part of the United States Space Shuttle program, and that in any military, past or present, one of the big sticking points is the supply lines. And this has a secure supply line going south to the LA port, but there are also fuel lines along the way. And you're probably thinking that the fuel lines are going to be large enough to fuel a rocket for a human being to fit inside. You're assuming they're disused and have been for almost 50 years.
Okay. Also, with that roll, the other thing he's looking for, if it were me and I was in control of this facility, where would I garrison? Like, where would be the most effective place to garrison my security?
Let's see.
Where would I put security points? Essentially, where is the most logical place for them to exist?
Right. Let's see. What was your margin of success?
2.
2. You would reason that probably the best place for them would be to station them by the roadside. It's it being California, it has a lot of gorges and mountains and hills that they can hide behind, and they can report on any incoming or outgoing traffic.
Can I add in a couple of bits to the analysis?
Sure.
I want to try to determine which area, with a mixture of my schematics and this schematic, for where prisoners might be held, and for where I think Mr. Savage might be.
It's logical that areas like this, that large military bases would either have strong. Well, what year was this military base constructed? It was during the height of the space program.
Yeah, I mean, it was constructed back originally, I want to say, in 1941, and it was in use
It
from
was so it was a
1942
military
on.
building that was in use and probably modernized during the Cold War era. Justin, it will of course naturally have at least some kind of bomb shelter. And if I'm a if I'm a paranoid nutcase, I'm going to hide myself in the most secure room in the entire facility.
Well, there's that, and there's also trying to find my lost agent, which might be in some kind of brig or disciplinary area.
By your lost agent, you mean Sasori's new plaything?
No, they're two separate individuals.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, it
We are
occurred to me
sick
that
people.
did my screen sharing only just pop up?
No, it's still there.
Okay. So your map is a little bit more schematic-esque, Mr. Truliad. If you would care to roll intelligence analysis for me.
Which I now have. I got a 10. I succeed by 4.
Okay. You also notice, in addition to Sasori's information, it wasn't immediately obvious that there was a former onloading and offloading ramp, which makes journeying in by sea a possibility. Although the western coast of California is pretty well patrolled. Also, from the power comings and goings that you can see from the grid, is that the place is the energy requirements of the base were going up and up and up even after the base's supposed retirement. The sat photos are pretty much mum's the word. Very, very little activity showing on the surface, which leads you to believe that there might be the main of the facility might be underground. Also, at some point not that long ago, maybe 5 years ago, it just completely left the grid. You're not quite sure how that could be.
They might have built their own reactor. Anyways, it's so do I have an idea where I might store things? Or, no, this is going to be trying to get in to the underground area and then making our way from there.
Yeah, I mean, when
Bertrand.
you say store something, are you trying... Yeah.
Sorry, I just got a critical success with 3 1s. Yay, 3 1s.
Rolling what?
I'm rolling strategy now rather than tactics. If I wanted to neutralize this facility, if I wanted to essentially shut it down, something like would something like an EMP do it? A large EMP?
I'm assuming that Winston Trulian is going to be sharing his intelligence with you, right, Justin?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're basically putting together the briefing, and then we're going to do a briefing, and then we're going to go and do the mission, which is my plan.
Oh, so he hasn't been briefed yet.
Well, it means it's already making the brief, and then we're going to brief everyone all together.
Okay. Let's save that strategy roll for now, then, for when the briefing takes place. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Once I've got everyone all together, we can begin briefing, and then actually go and get stuff done.
R9, you're having a hard time rousing Wyatt. He seems to be sort of staring past you with a look of confusion on his face.
Oh, Caleb, did you take Zyme?
Now I really need to know if he follows the bottle of scotch across the floor.
I'm pretty sure if you put it if you threw it in the room with him, he'd at least he'd start feverishly writing about seeing it.
I repeatedly just cast the bottle in and out, trying to get him to follow it.
He kind of sways and he looks at it. He writes down, "Seeing a hallucination of my addiction made carnate. Note to self: possibly investigate where it may take me."
Cast, reel back in. Cast, reel back in.
Creepily haiku that was.
You stagger forward. The constant drifting of the oil platform seems much more pronounced than it has since your landing. You can feel every movement of the ship as you walk outside into the morning air. The the alcohol on the fishing line beckons you towards the boardroom.
Yeah, I follow it.
because this is going to be particularly hilarious. It's naked because the picture is naked.
No, he's not naked. I assume he probably just took off his shirt. It was hot.
Right. Bertrand Santo has been sent to physically, if necessary, pick him up and bring him to the boardroom.
I'm following. I'm not following.
Okay, you're actually coming with the booze? I thought you were just writing about it.
Yeah, first he was.
If you look outside the door, you can see a doctor being moving towards.
Follow the booze. That's right. You can get it. And I'll just lead him into the room.
BR, is there a bucket nearby?
Sure.
Can it be filled with water?
I want you to know that this line of thinking may get you killed right now.
A little bit of seawater is washed over the side, and as you notice, there's a couple of fish swimming in it.
Right, I shall grab this, I shall remove one of the fish, and then I shall throw the bucket into the air, just above the, like, aiming over the doctor's head, anticipating the water will fall on him, then standing some distance away, fish in hand, holding it like a sword.
Okay, assuming you don't have the throwing skill, go ahead and roll against small arms, melee, anything like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the silly portion of today's encounters.
No, I have a plan involved in this. I rolled a 9, small arms.
Yes, we've now declared that small arms skill does cover fish.
Yeah, I don't have small arms. I have guns, but I don't have small arms. I have a dex of 10 though, if that makes a difference.
Well, we'll just say you're rolling against your gun skill -4.
Okay, in that case, I actually missed by 3.
Okay, because we are apparently playing silly buggers, and Sasori is a very angry human being at this point. Did you say you threw a fish through the air?
No, I threw a bucket containing a fish, and now I'm standing there in a sword fighting position, holding the other fish like a sword. Because it's quite clear,
right, okay. Succeeding on this roll by a grand total of 8, Santo very calmly, I'll roll to quick draw his weapon. He's going to shoot the barrel he's going to shoot the bucket out of the air and look very sternly at Anthony for being dumb.
At which point he will turn to you, holding the fish, and go, "On guard, cod."
Okay, here's my question.
And then he'll wink at you. He'll wink at Santo, and then look pointedly at the doctor, as if to say, "I'm doing this all to annoy him."
I'm asking, did my notes get wet?
Well, we're gonna find out in a second here. The bullet, the 10mm round, definitely connects with the side of the plastic bucket, ripping it open in the air and sending a huge gob of water and a very upset fish down towards the oil platform. Attempt to dodge if you would, if you want to.
How do I?
Be at a -3.
The upset fish.
What am I using for dodge?
It might be printed on your character sheet. If it's not, I will look it up for you. It's 8 plus something.
Would you like to drop and roll, dodge backwards, or are you just gonna shift the side?
I would probably try and duck backwards. I would assume that would work.
All right, so that adds +3 for retreating dodge. You're not carrying all of your gear, I'm assuming.
No, I'm wearing pants and shoes.
All right then, pants and shoes. So that means you're at no level of load. What is your basic speed and basic move?
Basic speed is 5.5 and move is 5.
So you've got a dodge of 11.
So roll against 11.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, you have a penalty because you're stoned.
Okay.
But he's also retreat dodge, which is +3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would be rolling against an 8.
Okay.
Ugh. No, he's got a 11 without retreat dodge. He's got a standing 11 naked.
No, his speed is 5.5. +3 is 8.5. plus 3 for the retreat is 11, but minus 3 for the penalty, so that's 8.
Okay.
Okay, so... Oh god, no, I failed by 9.
Oh.
You are...
Oh.
You feel a little bit more awake now. This cold, salt seawater sticks to the lining of your warm sweater. It does trickle down your arms, but it doesn't completely cover your journal. You manage to hold it out in front of you like some precious thing.
Alright. I was about to get my shotgun. I'm a drug-induced state.
This is why doctors should not experiment with their own drugs. This is why you have lab rats.
For the duration of the meeting, perhaps, if it doesn't go on for longer than 20 minutes, your penalties will reduce to 2 if the fresh seawater has now woken you up and the adrenaline has kicked in.
I wish to emphasize, by the way, Bia, Caleb has come to and seen a man holding a fish like a sword.
Yes.
I think that warrants some sort of what the fuck is going on scenario.
Not for me, it doesn't. I'm already high. I was summoned here by a bottle of liquor.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is slightly Alice in Wonderland. You've been led here by a floating bottle of booze, and now there's a man holding effectively a swordfish.
Do you want me to get my shotgun? Because it sounds like something that would warrant me getting a shotgun. A man accosted me with fish. He tried to kill me.
No, I'm not holding the fish at you. I'm holding it at Santo.
My God, he's
In a
trying
really
to threaten
overly dramatic sword fighting pose.
He's threatening my employer.
I'm so tempted, Bertrand, to roll disarm to disarm him of the fish.
There are many ways you could
Roll
react.
taking the fish seriously.
It does strike you as more silly than hostile, though.
Look, he
Bear in mind, every time if you look at him sternly, he will wiggle the fish.
yeah, Wyatt is pretty hostile right now. He just got seawater and he's kind of in a crazy person rage, but I will be the first one to say, okay, he just looks at everyone. Alright, everyone, calm down. This doesn't have to get weird.
Calm pleasantness washes over your mind. Zyme is clearly a euphoric, as you note this down in your notes. Probably closest to heroin of anything.
Okay, good.
Where is the nearest window, BR?
There are open windows in the boardroom behind you.
I would like to throw him out of it.
Oh no, I'm going to walk over to the window, open it if it's not already open, and then, like a dart, throw the fish out into the sea.
Okay. I'm gonna see if the fish is still alive, actually, after all this. It is! Hey, hurrah! It twists and bends in the air, gasping in surprise as it lands into the ocean.
I get the odd impression that it's effectively flicking the fishy V's as it goes into the water.
It'll put in a good word for you with the dolphins when the aliens invade.
So what you are in fact saying is so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Wyatt finds a chair in the corner and is just kind of drifting.
At long last, everybody is present in the boardroom. Your info links simulate the presence of an ancient slide projector on the far end of the room.
Thank you. That took more effort than I assumed it would.
So, next time I believe the stabbing commences sooner.
Mm-hmm.
As he puts the sword back into its sheath.
Silas just looks at you going, no, next time I just bring a haddock. And he gets this grin on his face.
Right.
Who gave him Zyme? Fess up now. Who gave him mind-altering drugs?
I haven't used mind-altering drugs. I'm just in a slightly good mood.
Again, still sitting there taking notes on everything.
Right.
And for reference, this is what happens when Silas discovers an interesting bit of technology. He gets into a very odd, if slightly psychotic mood.
I just noticed that Caleb switched his photograph from regular Dr. Krieger to Dr. Krieger on cocaine with a screwdriver.
I would like to point out, gentlemen, we are all civilized. It's not cocaine. It is clearly, if American Dad has taught us anything, called cocaine.
Oh God.
Yes. Anyway, You have yourself a stone stenographer in the corner.
Right. Either way, let's just skip straight to the briefing, discuss the bits, everyone can get prepared, and then we will go and do what we actually do well, and maybe the doctor might sober up.
Oh, hey! He looks up and goes, "Hey! Do you gonna need me to fly a helicopter?"
That was the plan.
Well, Santo very calmly shakes his head and goes, "No, sir. I will no."
Silas looks over at Winston. I think we might have to throw him in the sea before he's sober enough to actually start piloting that helicopter.
I also, Sasori raises his hand and said, "I assumed you were taking my helicopter." Are we not taking my helicopter? Are we taking his helicopter? Whose helicopter is being taken here?
I don't know.
Whoa!
I'm the Mad Doctor's
My hang glider.
I mean, Sasori would almost certainly prefer to take yours, given the state of disrepair of Wyatt's old beat-up helicopter.
Genuine question, Bertrand. Is there enough space for Sasori's helicopter on the oral platform, like a helicopter pad?
Yes, there is a helicopter pad that can fit your helicopter.
Excellent. In that case, the Santo will simply shrug and say, "I'll pilot if that's the case."
Well, let's skip straight to it. So I have a picture of a certain Mr. Savage. Today we have two objectives. Number one is to make friendly contact with this individual over here. Click.
This ancient seeming machine wars to life. Let's see.
Oh, I love these things.
That is a picture of Dr. Gary Savage, former employee at Area 51 and leader in the United States federal government research in biochemistry.
This is Dr. Savage. Dr. Savage is a very important individual. We wish in today's mission to be able to make friendly contact with Dr. Savage, as well as potentially recruit him to our cause. He might be being brought back here, he might be left to his own devices depending on the situation, but to establish a line of communication with Dr. Savage is our primary directive. Objective number 2 is in the attempt to infiltrate said base, one of our agents has managed to get themselves captured. I shall now show a picture of said agent.
Machine whirs. There's no photograph attached to the picture, but you're not sure if you recognize the face.
This agent is our secondary objective and needs to be retrieved from the location of which he's currently being held. Now, the location on which these individuals are currently staying is to the X-51 Air Force Base. I love being able to do this. This is awesome.
You switch over to the schematic of the base.
We need to be able to infiltrate this base, retrieve one individual, make friendly contact with another individual, and be able to leave this base in good short order. The base is completely off the grid in terms of power consumption and potentially runs its own separate internal network as well, making it exceedingly hard to crack.
R9's just sitting there, like, looks like he's gone to sleep, not even paying attention anymore, after he's, like, downloaded the schematics.
Mm-hmm. Now, can someone just go and plug the robot in?
Pasta.
Apparently he needs to be recharged. Now, do we have any questions, gentlemen?
One thing that might rise to the mess of your minds is why Dr. Savage, and what is the significance of him in the facility?
Well, Dr. Savage is how I like to refer to as the VIP for this mission. He's a top scientist, used to work at Area Area 51, but is also connected with one of the largest spying networks the world knows, or has.
At the mention of the name Area 51, Silas perks up like he'd just been tased. Like you see him bolt almost out of his chair.
The Area 51.
Eyes wide and like dinner plates.
I'm
You get the impression he might be
45.
drooling.
And went there 45. Had a cheeseburger.
The thing that
Well, it's
strikes you
delicious.
as extra insulting about this is that R9 usually doesn't sleep at all.
Yeah,
It's
by the way, when he starts being like snarky about Area 51, Silas turns around and just screeches, literally like really high pitched yell at R9. Shut up, tin box! And then turns back and gives the Doctor his full attention.
Okay.
Again, eyes wide as dinner plates.
Well,
He's
don't worry. If
in
he carries
every
on doing
detail.
it, if he carries on doing it, I'm just going to upload a virtual reality program to his optic sensors that will give him a bit of surprise.
Okay, so sorry, I was getting... the only thing I'm practically able to eat are custard and ice cream. Behold my universe right now. So custard, it's a
Yum.
thing. But what have I missed?
Well, we're just going through the general briefing. Like, okay, we need to make contact with this individual. Hopefully, potentially recruit him to our cause. He may not be coming back with us, and we also need to retrieve this other individual from the base and his return safely to the mainland.
My question becomes, why were Grog and Anthony having spasms?
Of course, Grog is already just downloaded all the schematics and is not paying much attention because he already downloaded everything. And Anthony is excited because the person that we're making friendly contact with is an Area 51 scientist.
Yeah, and Grog's Roboman to be narky about the fact we were going to go see a guy from Area 51, at which point Silas flipped out. Because Area 51, possible new technology, eyes and attention caught.
So, yes, we need to be able to get into this potentially highly guarded area that runs completely off the grid with its own internal network with an unknown amount of security and assailants on a very secure network, and be able to get back out all in good order.
Well,
That sounds like something worth our attention.
bear in mind, the facility you're talking about, the person whom you wish to make contact with is the individual who's holed himself up in this facility. He's there because he doesn't feel safe. So what he has the capabilities of doing is the capabilities of a rat who has literally crawled out its last hole. So I recommend we knock out... You're right. Oh, it has this system. It has this, that, and the other. I recommend we knock out all electronics in the area. This is why I think we should EMP the place. I'm not
Seems good.
to the entire state.
Seems good. Might put them on a little bit of high alert, but then again provides me an R9 extra openings into being able to get past that.
Yes, but then again, bear in mind, they can be on high alert all they want, but when their technology doesn't work, it basically is the playing field. None of it is about
Can I interject?
By all means.
Okay, here's the thing. As somebody who worked at places like this, I can tell you that not all of their stuff is unshielded. So an EMP is fine and dandy, but it's not going to knock out everything. And high alert does mean a lot because some of the stuff is going to be on. So unless you can, hack a tank, shit's going to go sideways.
Tank. What you have to understand is most security personnel will have at least somewhat limited augmentation. Bertrand, I assume it's nearly impossible because of the size of augments for them to be shielded against EMP blasts.
Augments can be made EMP resistant at the very least. People
Yeah,
have to pay extra for that.
And as far as I know, all that EMP does is it more or less just saps the power supply. All they have to do is get a recharge. It's not going to fry them permanently.
It causes the equivalent of a knockout, basically.
Yeah.
Which but I prefer a non-lethal route if possible. Likewise, we can have potentially our troopers, if things go horribly wrong, excavate our retreat.
So you have to understand that these individuals in the Juggernaut Collective, for a start, will be paying us when we extradite their man. We're not doing that for free. We will quite happily go and have a conversation with this person, but we are doing that because we wish to do it. The rescue of their man is something that we will be sending them a bill for, I think in the amount of 1 million bulbs. If they don't pay it, I will quite happily ventilate this man's brain here and there, and I will send them a video that find on the internet.
Silas raises his hand. Mr. Sasori?
Yeah.
Can I make an alternative suggestion? If they don't pay, can I have him? Even just his brain.
You're not having one of my agents.
He looks weirdly like intense. What?
You're not having one of my agents.
I don't necessarily want him, just brain.
That would count as one of my agents.
He's not one of your agents. He is an agent of a body or organization with whom you are affiliated. He's not your property.
Mm-hmm. Still, I think it'll be nice to have an on side.
I'm happy to accept. I'm not, however, willing to give them charity. What have they given us?
That's completely fine. By all means,
Justin, does Winston Truliat have eidetic memory?
Yes, he does.
You recall that your contact, Quinn, used a couple of words to describe the person to pick up. Agent, which has an official meaning, and collaborator. An agent is somebody used by an intelligence organization that is not strictly speaking part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you would conclude based on what he said that this is somebody who has worked with the Juggernaut Collective in the past but is perhaps not a member of it.
Well, yeah, I think the best way to put it is this one person was paid to do this and got himself caught. We'd like to extradite him. Also, potentially helpful is he's potentially a useful recruit for us. Someone that we could have on the payroll, and he's going to owe us a lot.
Well, look, I'm not being unreasonable. This is a company. If the Juggernaut Collective wishes us to do their dirty work, essentially, that's fine. I'm completely all right with this. However, in the end, foot a bill like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that, R9 just pops his eyes open, adjusts his hat. Wait a second, I'm not getting paid to do this? I'm gonna go back to work. And he just stands up and walks out the door.
Yeah. Wait. What? We're not?
Well, we have reasons to want to go and have these individuals. Like I said, second individuals is a bonus objective.
Okay.
I would like to be able to recruit more people for our organization, potentially talented individuals to work in a certain area that we're currently setting up would be needed.
Oh, okay.
On the other side, we can also send a bill to the Juggernaut Collective for, retrieving an agent.
Indeed.
I think we should discuss payment before we do it, because they could just say, no, we got our guy.
This is why I intend to hold this individual until we agree payment once he's been extradited.
Yeah, but then that comes off as a dick move on our part. So then we're holding a guy hostage, effectively.
Well,
which doesn't really foster
remember,
friendship.
he was hired to do it. Chances are we can just extract payment from him.
Okay. What, he's got a spare kidney or something?
Well, he's a hired agent that works on fairly high-level operations. I'm pretty sure he has money.
Oh, sure, yeah. Ooh, let's charge him both ways.
My question becomes, have we not simply considered talking to this individual, the doctor?
Hmm? Well, I do have a private key for setting up the communications. It's just getting close enough to him where I can use that.
So, his paranoia is such that he will openly refuse to... Wait, hang on, I am an idiot. Why don't we just use the security key that we were given in order to get into their encrypted network? aka that one thing that was created by the people who were not allowed to talk about that can get into any communication system known to man.
What key were you given that can get into any communication system known to man? I don't
The
remember this.
woman gave us, the one that could literally get us into any system for a brief period of time. Be really careful when and where we used it.
I think you might have misunderstood a little bit. I mean, she's a communications expert, and she can definitely search the standard Aquinas router really well as some of the private, MJ12 networks and that sort of thing. But I mean, you're welcome to ask Rachel about Area 51 and Vandenberg Air Force Base if you want.
You told us that there was a worm that was inserted by them into all communication and surveillance software that she could access, but it was a very, very difficult thing to do, because if it's by...
Most, not all. The MILNet is specifically wired off from the Aquinas router. That's actually something that comes from the original game.
Oh, okay.
It is its own separate entity, which makes this rather difficult.
Yeah, as is your base, of course.
Now, if we can get a physical connection in there, we can potentially start getting to work on it, which is where my job comes in.
Yeah, you also recall, Mr. Truliad, that the Juggernaut Collective hadn't been able to get communications into and out of the base for the better part of a week, and that's when they decided they would try and hack it themselves and encountered a different protocol. They also have had no ability to contact their agents, so it's probably wise to assume that comms are down in the base.
Mm-hmm. I'll pass that.
Hijacked.
Yeah, I'm going to pass that along to the party. So here's where things get interesting part of the briefing. You always got to save the twist for the end.
Like that Shama Ding Dong guy.
Over this, the exile leans back in his chair and he strokes his masked face, and he simply says, "What were this man's political affiliations and leanings prior to his self-imposed exile?"
Well, let's see what we can get.
Roll me the computer investigation skill of your choice.
Well, they're all at 16. Let's throw in my single-minded thing to be able to do it. 8, that's 14, so succeed by 5.
He's one of the most celebrated scientists in the field of biochemistry. He was part of the Hieron project, but he was one of the scientists who led on it, who spoke out against it early, and therefore his reputation remained unblemished. One of the only people, in fact, who led a team of people that sort of conscientiously objected against Hieron after its reveal. He is also one of the most highly cited professors, although most of his research that he's been done is under an embargo. He is about, I want to say, 58 years old. He has a daughter, age 16, who...
Where is she?
She lives somewhere in New York City. She does not have an official place of residence that's been recorded.
If we find her, we won't need to storm the base. He'll come to us.
Well, the thing is, I think since the comms are down, there's a different network in there. It's why I think we need to actually go in.
As in, mail him a package with her fucking thumb, if necessary.
Yeah, but I don't think he's in charge of the base. I think a foreign entity has taken control of the base.
Why?
Because their internal comm system has gone down. They're suddenly using a completely different information security protocols.
Could just be the paranoia of an individual who believes, as I have said, he is a rat in a trap. However, the fact of the matter is that why should we risk ourselves, our tech, and our other items and accoutrements when this could be much simpler, quicker, and more efficient?
Because if you do it that way, if what I suspect is true, then you've given them away and we've accomplished absolutely nothing. And also gone on a wild goose chase. Whether it's a more direct route of actually going to the individual in question directly, actually gets us to the individual directly in question.
I know several people in Singapore who could easily sell a 16-year-old girl. It would not be a wild goose chase.
Yeah, but you'll just say, yeah, you, Mr. Person who's imprisoned over there, talk to us. Oh, wait, which you can't do. We've got your daughter, which you're imprisoned, it doesn't matter.
Think that that is the case. There is no evidence to prove that it is.
Well, there's more evidence towards that direction than there is in
Then-
the other direction.
Okay.
The suspicions.
Is of a very paranoid man who is, as I have said, clearly using this as a last bastion, changing his security protocols at the drop of, and then is probably proved right when his inner sanctum is invaded and the individual in question is then captured. It seems to me far more likely that this is this is still a controlled situation, that he's still quite viably there, and that if we can lure him out, it is better to bring the mountain to Muhammad than Muhammad to the mountain.
Except if we go by my route, that basically screws the entire situation over, and we lose, essentially.
I mean, one problem with it is this, which each of you would know. You don't have... All you know is that she's somewhere in New York. Tracking her down, I mean, the agent gave up communications about 53 minutes ago, so the situation will be severely different, possibly too late, if you go all the way to New York, then maybe or maybe not find her. You know, I mean, it's an option, but it's, you know, that would probably be Winston's objection.
We don't even need her, to be fair. All we need is to be able to impersonate her.
I'm not even going to go over how bad that is.
What do you
I hope you've been reading
you
the
don't just
side check PR.
you don't just impersonate a person's daughter. A person knows their daughter.
Yes, however, when it is calling out, "Daddy, please help me," that part of the brain kicks in.
You hope.
So smiles and simply says, "I've done it enough times to know."
Okay.
At this point, you're not sure if you can even communicate with Gary Savage without breaking into the facility and, you know, shaking his hand in person. But if you want to drag a 16-year-old in there,
I do.
I don't know why. I don't. It's like going like, yeah, let's go down this completely utter wild goose chase to not accomplish our goals.
So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on every bit of tech I have, BR.
are you just leaving?
Yeah, I'm just going.
Um,
Probably going to kill anything that gets in my way when I get into the base.
You know
I mean,
what?
are you going to steal a helicopter to do it?
No. I'm actually feeling frisky enough. I get my tack gear on and I follow the robot men. Let's do this, man. I'm fucking stoked.
I have the need to kill something. Let us be about that need.
I'm going to be right back. Just going to go and use the facilities.
Sure.
Can was it R7? Is that your short? R9. Can you fly a helicopter?
No.
Okay.
I cannot. I
probably
can, however,
shouldn't.
crash it into the land where I want to be.
I can fly a vertical. I can fly all kinds of vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. So let's do this.
There is only one fact that is on the on the oil rig, and the fact that the keys aren't in the ignition.
All right.
All right,
Let's do
time to
this.
hotwire.
Yep. Also,
There
don't
are
I
two-
have my helicopter?
I hate to do this to you, Evan, but there are 2 helicopters. Wyatt's is there.
Yay! Let's do this.
What? First of all, I mean, have you guys decided on a mode of ingress, or are you just gonna sort of fly over there and see what you see?
I'm just gonna belly drop into the base
I was gonna try
from
and
low
land it.
altitude.
I say we land it a fair distance away, and then walk up, do a nighttime insertion or what have you.
That works. I kind of wanted to skydive into the place though.
I mean, you can. I'll do the other thing. I ain't got no robot parts like that. I just got the sunglasses built into my head.
Stealth parachuting into a base. That's gotta be at -50.
I get into the pilot seat, and then I get on my radio, and I go, by the way, any of you nerds coming with us?
So, my lord. You know. Yes, my lord.
What?
Just that you guys know, Silas is already in basically a flight. He's already basically in a blackout suit. But the minute he's ready to go, he ran and put on a suit. He's got 3 drones under his thumbs.
Did I?
And no,
There's just all kinds of garble going on right now.
I have no idea what he said.
can you guys understand me?
You sound like you're
barely.
underwater.
Hold on.
So if anyone wants to come with us, or if anyone has a good reason we shouldn't, now would be the time to do it. So I'm going through pre-flight.
I just feel like we should, like, this just goes through all of your attack nets and everything. I just feel like we should murder our way in, grab him, keep him as our own personal slave, and and give the other guy to Winston at the price of 50 grand.
I do need guinea pigs for my Zyme experiments.
Very well.
By the way, just to let you guys in, Silas has basically been, the minute you said it was time to go, I'm assuming I'm more understandable now.
Yes.
He basically put on like a blackout suit, grabbed a load of his drones and stuff under one arm, massive notepad under the other. He's almost jumping on the balls of his feet.
It actually does occur to me, I only got enough room for 1, maybe 2 more people in this helicopter. So I think we're kind of at carrying capacity if we want to extract people.
In that case, what we'll do is, we'll take we'll take both of the helicopters so that we can get more space.
I approve. Yes.
Yes.
Let's take both.
Okay. The question becomes, so guys, which helicopter do you want to be in?
Hey,
I'm going in the one that isn't flown by the stoner.
I'm not a stoner.
I would like to point out, technically speaking, Caleb, aren't you still at like -3 to all your rolls for being blitzed mindless?
I have. It's first of all, it's a -2, and second, I'm assuming by the time I have to land the thing, it'll be down to a -1. So
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, it takes almost as much skill to actually fly a helicopter without it crashing into something than it does to land the accursed thing. Because you have to actually maintain them, like keep them up.
yeah, you do. Also,
In
my
which
understanding
case-
is you don't know how to fly it, so shut up.
Well, my understanding is I know why I never took flying lessons in a helicopter. Because fuck that shit.
It's my understanding I'm hearing a
Nearly
whole
crashed in a
lot of
plane.
complaints
I ain't
coming from your
crashing in a
beehole. Hearing a lot of complaints coming from that side of the room, and I'm just saying I'm not hearing a lot of solutions.
Right, well, Santo and Sasori are going in Sasori's helicopter. Sasori's helicopter is big enough to seat between 6 and 8 comfortably.
Oh.
So,
We don't need to take mine out tonight.
Yeah,
well, no,
Silas is getting
we still probably do. If we're bringing people back, we still need, and plus, I'm going to say the Gep gun is going to take up at least 2 seats, as it's kind of laid across 2 seats.
No, you can carry it one person. I mean, like, you basically have it where it's in between your knees when you're sitting.
Yes, but that does take into account that it's a Gep gun. It's likely on the seats with candles, a shrine, and incense with a Japanese script of purity next to it with a monk praying at it.
It's a Gep gun, not a fucking chainsword.
I would like to point out all of the above is true right now. That's going to actually happen. Hey Bertrand, can I spend 50 grand for, I quote, Gep gun shrine?
Actually, I'd say that's one thing we should work on, is we should develop our own proprietary Gep gun. And have it called, like, Muramasa or something like that.
Oh, sacred Gep gun, deliver this rocket to our enemy's heart and bring them this message. Eat fire and die, dipshits!
Our
right,
enemy
so
is
who's
one
that?
on the outside. Shout, snuff it.
So I have room for like 2 more people. Who else is coming with me?
I'll go with
Just for reference, Evan, your helicopter seats about 8, and that's including the pilot and co-pilot.
Does it? Okay. Have we checked the brand? Huzzah.
I'm going to go with Caleb's person, because if it does go horribly wrong, I can just upload a pilot program or something to prevent death.
Silas is going in Sasori's helicopter because he doesn't want to die.
Oh, use a punk.
No, I'm a survivor.
Okay.
He points to the robo legs. I have been through enough shit thus far.
Fine.
Quick
I show
question.
you play Scarred. I've been through shit too.
Hey,
Sonny.
Bertrand. Quick question. How many troops do we have that exist?
Well, let's see. You're taking both you and your alt. So 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus whoever you obtain at the base.
No. As in, sorry, no. As in, how many people do we have? As in the actual PMC staff, the ones who
Well,
Grog
that's
is
up to
running
you.
around.
They're still quote-unquote candidates. If you decided you wanted to throw them into the field at this point, that's your guys' call.
Sasori will basically, however many people are not on board his helicopter, so how many seats are vacant, I will fill with potentials that Grog believes are the most promising.
Okay.
I've got
They're
2
your
that
guys,
have
Grog, so
character
are you
sheets.
cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. There are 2 spare seats, so you can take Ace and Sniper Rifle Guy if you want.
Assault rifle guy, sniper rifle guy. Live 2 more weeks, you might get a name.
I
So,
approve of the plan of extra fire support.
So Caleb, you're going to bring your helicopter as well, just so we can make sure we have sufficient room in order to bring back people we have in the base, or we
Now
find
I
in the
can,
base.
then we can airdrop. We can do the opening act as airdropping in.
Oh yeah, Grog, do you actually want us to airdrop you?
Yeah. Airdrop the
Okay.
3 of us in. Like
Well-
me and the 2
I
and the
can't
2
air.
members.
I was say I can't air. Oh, those, yes.
You
Yes,
can
we do
airdrop.
that.
There's got to be a parachute on this thing.
There is. There's only one. There is
Well-
exactly one parachute.
I start
Also-
strapping it on.
No, that's mine.
I'll see you when you land.
All right. So we're doing this.
Yeah.
Do I gotta roll?
Alright, so you're going to pile into the 2 helicopters. Now, for Evan's group, with the 3 on strategy that you got, you know that there are 2, possibly 3 vulnerable points of egress. There are hills in that area, which doesn't preclude going in just over the land. There is also that abandoned fuel station, which might be big enough to hide your helicopter behind, and then crawl in using the fuel line. That would probably get you to the rocket bay on the surface level of the base. There's also a docks, which if you wanted to, you can fly your helicopter over and then just sort of belay down via rope onto the docks. It's up to you. Truly, and you're also aware of most of this. The dock was marked for you on your map. You don't have the insight about the fuel line, but you would know that that would be a decent place to stash a helicopter. Also, anybody with piloting, both Evans, Alt, and Mr. Wyatt, go ahead and roll against your piloting skill for me.
Okay.
I shall point out our desired landing zone.
I have got him.
so-
I passed by 0.
Santo passes by. Sorry, he passes by. He passes by 6, 7 actually. His
Is that
piloting is
including
13.
your -2 penalty, Wyatt?
Yes.
Okay.
I passed by 0.
You're starting to sober up a little bit, coming down from -3 to -2. Have you ever had? Do you think you would have ever had Zyme before in your character's history?
No.
Okay, so it hit you pretty hard for it being a first time, but you can tell you don't feel quite as euphoric as before.
And sorry to answer your question, Bertrand. Santo passes by 7.
Santo passes by 7. Okay. So, you know, and also Wyatt knows, that you're going to want to be flying low because, you know, of American-based radar, and you might have spotted LiDAR if you took a careful look at the photographs of the base. So you get within a couple of miles of that, and pretty much any moving object in the air is going to be spotted. If you fly up higher, which you would need to do to parachute in, you're most likely to be picked up by radar.
All right.
So you could fly up. See, what you could do if you wanted to satisfy Grog's conditions is you could fly in low, then spike up high, 2 miles south of the base, and parachute him down there if you wanted to.
That's yeah.
Or we could just bear in mind my character's helicopter is just a private luxury helicopter. I mean, it's not like Black Ops or anything like that. So we could just be an ordinary helicopter flying over the base. These things happen. So I
don't think they happen particularly often for this base.
Well, hang on, Bertrand. How far is the base from its nearest population center?
It's kind of out in the middle of the sticks. It's in a
So-
small town.
That would mean that it gets a lot of flyover because there's no population to screw with.
Presumably. I mean, it's an Air Force base, but it's been decommissioned for decades.
Is there stealth? Could I put stealth like a ghillie suit or something, or spray paint? I'm trying to get in here stealthily, and it's not night. Damn it!
Yeah, no, it's
Why
not going to
couldn't
be
it be
night when you
night?
guys arrive.
All right, so yeah, in that case, I think the best situation is going to be Santo's going to put us down next to the fuel the fuel processing plant, and we're going to make our way in through that interconnecting area, and he's going to do it by. So we're going to try and avoid their detection.
Okay. Give me another piloting roll.
Here, you tried hard enough.
Me also, or what?
Well, I assume you're pilot.
Just for Evan's group.
Okay.
Okay. Consider me mute, Rob. Sorry, ow, my throat. Death.
Could you run by me again? I didn't quite hear you.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Santo passes by 4.
Okay. And let's get one for Wyatt as well.
Okay. Okay. Alright, gentlemen, bad news. I failed by 1.
Okay. What's your plan of approach, incidentally?
I plan, what was it? Like you had said, to fly low, then spike up to let them get off. So,
Okay.
sticking to the plan.
All right, let's put it all together then. Sasori's expensive helicopter, plush and rich interior. You can hear the delightful sound of the expensive motor turning. It's almost silent as it picks up air as the VTOL helicopter swings its engines around and it takes off slowly from the ground and smoothly glides off into the bay. It's not long, about an hour and 30 minutes before the Vandenberg Air Force Base begins to slide into view. You've been flying low across the California coast, a common thing for enthusiasts. And that dodging in between air traffic and drones, you manage to find yourself in an area of air traffic which, unlike much of the rest of the United States, is relatively free and uncovered. You set up in a small mesa with a desert surrounding you on both sides. The dirt clumped in high hills, as you can spot the ancient and abandoned Texaco gas station with its sign turned sideways, and the old gas prices of $2.50 poking out of the sound. From there you can probably guess about how old the facility is. It's been barred up for what looks like the better part of 3 decades or so, but it's hard to tell from the sky. The helicopter glides in, leaving a crater shape of dust behind the gas station as it sets down, and it bounces a little bit as it hits the dirt. It's quiet. There doesn't seem to be anybody else here.
BR, as soon as they hit the dirt, the 2 members are going to just turn on all of their cloaking devices and jet across towards my TACnet.
Sure. The disciplined soldiers immediately fade from view as their boots hit the ground and a cake of dust erupts from the floor. Hunching over their weapons, they begin moving in formation towards the base. It's about 2 miles to the north.
Am I with these people?
No, you're with Caleb.
Okay.
Okay, so for Wyatt's group, it's a little different. The helicopter lurches as it sort of takes off from the platform, the ancient engine groaning as it does. It sort of heaves into the air, but the smaller helicopter flies out actually a little bit faster than the other one.
Why didn't I take the nice flight?
I know, right? Me too.
You ask yourself. You also are sober enough to remember that it's a good idea to fly low in American airspace. But you take a more inland route from the rest of the group, not wanting to be seen from the south. You can see the highways underneath you as they get smaller and smaller, and then some of them even just dip down into disrepair after the 1938 earthquake and were never repaired. You're flying sort of over a no-access route as you get closer and closer to the base. Finally, about 2 miles out, you pull up on the throttle, but as you do, the engine chokes a little bit and the control shakes in your hands. And I'd like you to give me another piloting roll if you can, please.
Hit.
I'm gonna go ahead and grasp onto the side of the plane that I was about to, or helicopter that I was about to grasp on. What? This isn't part of the plan.
If I may quote Titanic, it's been a pleasure serving with you, gentlemen. Now let's roll. So I needed technically a 14, and I got a 15.
Okay. Yeah, the engine sort of throttles and then suddenly goes dead as the fuel line cuts out. You manage to stabilize it enough so that you're not, heading upside down towards the ground. You're in free fall as the rotary blades are sort of slowing your descent. But you're going to need to get it running quick. You've got about 30 seconds to actually spark the engine again.
Okay, yeah, immediately I try and spark the engine again.
Do I believe that I can safely parachute out?
No, you're too low to the ground.
How low am I?
Maybe, you got half a mile to fall, maybe a mile.
So
the tuck and roll maneuver it is, preparing to jump.
Waiting for the green light. You'll be good if you do it at the last second.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to try something again, or what?
Sure, you pass the control over to Winston, who's sitting in the co-pilot chair next to
you. Go, man, go.
Right. We're going to try use a pilot program and correct this.
I would like to point out that if it crashes now, it's your fault, not mine.
You're dismayed to learn that the helicopter doesn't appear to have any sort of infolink uplink. It's 100%
No.
controlled.
The helicopter doesn't need one. I need one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're pulling a operator and need to fly him. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a second. Who's Keanu Reeves?
That would probably be the ninja robot jumping out of the plane. See you guys.
So that makes Winston Trinity, and so I'm Lawrence Fishburne. I'm okay with this.
What does pilot default to?
It's -5, I believe.
That's not so bad. -5 is 8. I rolled an 8. Am I helping?
Well, it's int -6 apparently is piloting.
You're not able to get much detailed information or concepts off your info link, but you are able to figure out more what not to do than what to do. Basically, at this point, you've got to hold the throttle steady and hope that engine sparks again. And if it doesn't, chances are you're going to be fine, but the helicopter won't necessarily be.
No!
Alright, so with my skill set, I'm going to try to go ahead and leap out of the plane.
Okay.
Premature.
Because first, are we at where I was supposed to leap anyway? Because I'm not missing the leap point.
You're a little bit further south, probably by about a half a mile, not by much.
So we have what? About half a minute to a minute before we get to where I'm supposed to jump?
Yeah, thereabouts. You've got about a 2.5 mile hike into the base.
Alright, so I'm gonna wait for about 30 seconds then. Before.
At that point, the helicopter will physically have hit the ground.
Here's the point.
Ah, true. I'm just gonna wait and tuck and roll when it hits the ground then. I have a really good acrobatics check.
Okay. Alright, so this is going to be repair or engineering or computer hardware for you, Wyatt.
No, flip the other switch as I try to assist him.
Well, I've got several of those.
We're
things.
not flying, we're crashing!
I'm falling with style.
I've got the engineering.
And I got the repair, and I've got a...
It was, let Caleb roll his dice.
Am I doing that now? Okay.
I think we're all picking a skill and just going for it.
Hey! Look at that.
There
Passed
you
by
go.
7.
I was just toying with you guys. Everything is fine.
The ancient fuel injection system springs back to life as sparklers bring new life. You hear the rush of an exhaust as something foul-smelling comes from the engine, but it's running again, and the beeping noise returns to the cabin as the helicopter stabilizes in a dip.
Oh, that's where I hid my stash.
I believe we just smoked out an entire county.
He is so not allowed any more of this Zyme crap.
I'd like to point out that you don't have a say in that, and I'd like to see you stop me.
You're considerably closer to the ground than you were before. Are you going to attempt the maneuver again?
Probably not. Okay. I look back, kind of wavering still.
Just go straight up. It's a helicopter. Just go straight up.
So I'm gonna try again, but I look over at R9 and I go, "You want me to try again, or?"
I give you the thumbs up.
Okay, I try it again. Let's do this.
Because
Wait.
I can't die from this, but you can. But I'm not
Wait.
saying that.
I look over at Winston. Should I try this again?
I would advise a violent shaking of the head.
We're what, half a mile out from our spot, right?
They're half a mile from where I have to jump from.
Okay. You know what? Screw it. Roll the dice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right, sure. I'm gonna
And
try it
don't
again.
roll d8s this time. Roll d6s.
So I've been doing. You're looking at the wrong screen, buddy. I got a
am
calculator.
looking at the wrong screen. Sorry. I'm looking at Evan's screen.
Technically, I think there's some D10s.
Passed by 4. I got an 8.
Nice.
Awesome.
And I was going to give you a circumstance bonus of 1, but you stuck it anyway. So learning from your last mistake with this particular engine, you know it's a little finicky. So you ascend in circles rather than just trying to go straight up.
Nope,
And,
straight up. Tower of Terror. That's what this thing can be renamed.
You're now at a safe distance to parachute out if you would like to, Grog. You can see the base from here.
Yes, I'd like to parachute out now.
Okay. We're gonna, let's see. We'll see how well you do the actual sticking it with. We'll use the jumping skill for that. Do you have jumping?
How about no? I didn't even know jumping was a skill.
Yeah, right. You got soldier training, right?
I do, in fact.
Yeah, go ahead and use your soldier for it.
Alright.
We'll say -1. It's pretty close.
If you botch it, we're going to talk about, you remember your soldier training being beaten with socks and bars of soap.
Oh, hey, I just found, never mind, there is a parachuting skill. I mean, go ahead and use your soldiering anyways, because I'm assuming you don't have that either.
I will after this. Didn't know that existed either.
Yeah, I believe after this, both me and you are taking scuba diving and parachuting.
Alright, so at -1, that gives me a... let's see, do I have anything that would give a bonus to this? Oh, my loadout. Okay. Excellent. So, I've got a... I'd like to roll tactics first, if that's okay. Like, where I'm planning on going.
Sure.
That's 7, so I make it by 4.
Okay. You see some jumping Choya rapidly approaching you as the ground does, and you steer yourself away from landing in the giant cactus. There's a nice place that's sort of stuck behind a boulder as the valleys lead down to the Air Force base that you're pretty sure will avoid visual contact.
Alright, so here we go, soldier skill. One of the rarely used skills. I've got it right on.
Okay. So we now know that you survived the landing. Congratulations. Now, final roll. I need you to roll stealth to see how stealthfully do you deploy your parachute. See if the base spots you. We'll do this as a quick contest.
Alright, quick contest.
And if you've got your bonuses against radar, you can use that.
Radar, sonar, visual.
Just the radar, because that's what they'll be using.
Alright, so you take a -6 to your skill roll.
Okay. I'm looking at a 21, so I think you can beat that.
Well, BR, how would you like to beat that by 10?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a ghost.
Yes, you are. Nobody sees you, not even your other team, as you slowly sail down from the parachute and quickly fold it up. The nylon and neoprene makes only a whisper-like sound as it retreats back into your storage pack. Gun at the ready, you're ready to head in.
What gun? I
You're
don't
going to be
use that
using melee
heathen.
only.
I don't use that heathen black magic.
Right.
What is this? Code of honor? Where is it? Oh yeah!
It would go against your extremely strict hobo knife fighting code.
It would go against my delusion that guns are no match for jujitsu. And ninjutsu.
So everyone has landed except for Wyatt and Winston. You sat down at the previously established LZ, not far from where Grog is parachuted in. And
Okay.
you're behind a mesa right now on a nice flat surface of land, difficult to see from where the base is.
I shall fully stealth myself up then.
Suddenly, Wyatt, you feel very alone. All your friends have disappeared.
Both Santo and Sasori are going to activate all of their augments and such, getting ready to, let's go rock this town.
Speaking of Santo and Susori, I would like everybody that's landed with that group to roll me perception visual, if you would, please.
Ooh.
Actually, no, make it perception auditory.
By the way, we didn't just split the party. We split the party 3 ways.
Yep. We're doubly fooked.
Be right back.
Perception hearing, did you say?
Perception hearing, that's right.
Santo was as deaf as a post.
I succeeded by 3.
By 3. Okay, let's see.
And I succeeded by 4.
Something is showing up on Sonic's coming from inside of the gas station. You're not really sure what now, but it's this scratching noise. It sounds bigger than a rodent.
Sort of greasel. Or chupacabra, whatever.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, get gun.
Yeah.
I was thinking more in terms of if at first we don't succeed, die again.
I would like to point out you don't know if the tanks underneath the place are empty, so that might be a dumb idea.
Or
That's also possible.
the best idea ever. Sasori will draw his katana, and he's basically going to plant his foot through the door.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone. I had to get something to eat. It was just finished cooked.
Because
No
I've
worries.
apparently become the character who, headbutts people in random noodle bars and is really angry and angsty and just wants to hit things.
Well, you might get your wish. The door has been boarded over. Do you still want to attempt the boot to the head? You can. There's no reason why you can't.
BR, I'd like to ping my TACnet into their TACnet, the other two.
Sure.
Because if I remember the plans right, there was a back door that we could have gone into.
Yeah, I mean, there's the one that they're, I think, probably currently trying to access. There's a fuel line that leads out from the gas station.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a landing at the docks. I'm pretty sure none of you decided to make use of that, however.
To get into the base?
Yeah, there's a dock about a couple of miles south along the shore. That's pretty old and disused, and if you wanted to, you could have landed there, or you could have used a ship for loading and unloading. But time is of the essence of this mission.
I meant like a actual door, as in, like he's saying, kick open. I thought there was the
asking if
second
there's more
door
than one mode of ingress to the the gas station.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean there are boarded up windows and that kind of thing too.
I'm just gonna slice open a window big enough to where, with the monowire katana, just big enough that the sniper can look in.
Sure. I believe the TACnet projects your own local area network, which means that once you guys get in another mile of each other, you can start communicating in earnest again, but all of you will notice that InfoLink access is out here.
Sorry about that, Bertrand. You were telling me about the last thing I heard was when I kicked in the door, and then you said, yes, something might be happening. So, what did I see when I kicked in the door?
The door is boarded over at this point. I was just wondering if you wanted to decide to kick through the boards and the door behind it. You're welcome to do it. There are also windows that are boarded over.
Yeah, well, bear in mind, my legs are made of metal, so let's do the big and clever thing.
All right. Let's see. If you're going to be kicking it open, go ahead and roll against your thrust.
Can I roll against a martial art to break the door open?
I mean, you can. I'm just going to assume that you hit. I mean, it would be pretty embarrassing if you somehow tried to kick the door and miss, so I was just going to cut straight to the thrusting damage.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll punch it rather than kick it, because I can use my swing with my mechanical hat, with my upper body strength, etc.
Okay.
So in that case, it would be my. How do you work out swing damage?
It might be on your sheet on the front page, but there's also a chart on it that I will find for you in GURPS.
Because I get +6 to it anyway because of my exoskeleton. Plus an additional 2, I think, for my robotic hand or robotic arm.
So what is your strength?
Let me just check. What is the average strength of a character? Because I haven't changed his.
10.
Yeah, then it's 10.
And you said you got a +6?
I got a +6, +2, because one is for the exoskeleton, and the other is for having the augmented limb anyway. So +6, +2, so +8.
Okay. So go ahead and roll 3 dice worth of damage.
3d6?
Yeah.
Give me just a moment. That will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll be 13 damage.
Okay. The weathered and rain-soaked wood breaks apart and shatters easily as it presses against the hinges of the rusted aluminum door on the inside. The door on the inside bends in somewhat as the wood fades away, and you can see one of the screws is popped out of the hinge on the top. It won't take much more than that to get inside.
Okay, should I just punch it again?
Well, let's give the others a turn to act. You've got your sidekick, and we've also got Silas, and who else is with you? Is that it?
No one, it's just myself and Silas.
Okay. Silas, would you like to do anything?
Assuming we don't have to be particularly quiet on this, I'll get one of my drones, take out one of those small, like sugar cube-sized blocks of explosive, and start squidging it into the keyhole. Oh, I'm assuming there's a keyhole.
Yep, there is.
Right. Get out. Well, then the fuse, stick it in. Get out a match, light fuse, retreat rapidly.
Roll me demolitions or explosives.
Yay! I will roll explosives demolition. I love having the demolition. It's a demolition sub skill. Ooh, 6, which means I succeeded by 5.
Outstanding. You shape the charge perfectly so that it'll blow the door off its hinges and probably surprise anybody who might be standing on the other side of it.
Right, yeah. So, the rest is up to you.
Might be a good time to duck and cover, so sorry.
Oh, I've already retreated rapidly, so yes. So sorry, go forward, go forward, go forward.
The Sori will stand just far enough away from the explosion to be safe, but close enough so that it will cause his coat to billow in a cool way.
Damn you!
As soon as I hear the explosion, I'm literally shoulder checking myself through a window so that the other two don't have to.
But much too far away for you to hear the small shape charge as it goes off with a pop. The door...
I thought it was bigger than that.
No, he just used about a sugar cube of C4. The door bows inward and then thrusts into the room as you hear a low groaning and a moaning noise coming from inside as the door proceeds into the hallway and then into one of the rooms behind the counter.
Excellent. I assume you want me to go in and deal with what's in here, Silas?
Nods vigorously.
Very good. Satori will walk. Satori will, with his katana in hand, walks into the room. Santo is kind of clocked with the get gun over his shoulder. He has his submachine gun in his hands, just kind of covering his boss. So what do I see when I enter the room?
The first thing that you notice when you step into the room is the smell. The sort of ancient smell of mold and mildew has mixed with something a little bit more foul. There's basically one main room that's been cleared out long ago of all of its food and valuables. The glass on the counter is broken, and behind that you can see bedrolls. And there seems to be the man who came by. There's an older man, Hispanic looking. Is sort of rubbing his nose as there's sort of like a bruise developing on his face right now. The door is resting against the side of where the bedrolls are kept. There may be more inside.
One assumes that Sasori is going to drive his katana through the man's shoulder and pin him to the ground.
Okay. Go ahead and...
roll broadswords?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow, I succeed by lots. 5, 6, 7 of a skill of 14, so I succeed by 7.
Oh! The man howls in pain as the katana, as he moves aside the door, only to find a katana slicing into his shoulder blade and pinning him against the wall.
Good evening. Or afternoon.
I guess I hear the scream though, BR, because it...
No.
Still no?
No. I mean...
Count to 10 then, and then go in.
Yeah. I think it's still probably a little bit too far away from you. Because you're both 2 miles from the base, but you're probably more like 3 from each other. And it's inside a building. I mean, you could try if you want to use your scanning software. It'll be at like a -5 or a 6.
So, very interesting.
That was an 18. I critically fail. I know nothing is going on.
Okay.
Very interesting to see that this area is not as barren of life as I thought it was. How is the elderly or the older Hispanic man dressed?
He's got a white stained clothing and a pair of ripped up jeans. Now, having moved further in the room, you can see behind him in one of the sort of what used to have been the employee entranceway. It's a small, tiled and cracked hallway. There are more bedrolls. There look to be about 3 children and 1 woman.
Santo, if any of them move, gun them down. Yes, my lord. So, I take it that you're squatters. I'd suggest answering, lest my hands slip.
Just please, don't hurt my family, the man says to you as your translation software translates it from Spanish across the corner of your vision.
Sori turns to Santo and says in Japanese, filthy, filthy mud-speaking half-bloods.
We call them wetbacks where we're from. Wait. The other guy isn't there. My bad.
I'm gonna crash my helicopter into you, Evan.
What are you doing here?
Yes, like you say, we squatters. We have no job, just passing through. We're looking for work. We can work.
So, how very interesting. How long have you been here?
A month, I think.
Very good. Good answer. Have you seen or heard anything going on at the base over yonder?
It is difficult to remember with sword stuck in my shoulder, would you please?
That's wonderful. It will be even more interesting to remember when I use this sword to cut your wife's pretty little throat, won't it?
No, I tell you. You're talking base north, yes. I have not... There's little traffic on this road. I come here because the highway has been out for many decades. I have not noticed anyone passing through here.
So Sori will take the sword out.
The man just sort of collapses onto his knees and sort of bows forward, rocking a little bit. Thank you. Very kind.
So, you've been in this building. Is it true then that there's a fuel line that connects here to somewhere else?
Yes, the man says, his eyes now in recognition of the fact that he's able to actually help you with something. There is an entranceway over here, service hatch. I show you. The man sort of drags himself to his feet and gesturing with his one good arm, he sort of wanders out the now open door.
So Sori contemplates the fact that he now appears to have a fetish for stabbing people through body parts into masonry.
You can hear one of the kids say, "No, Papa," as he turns around and he sort of gives them a reassuring nod as he hobbles over. There's a cement-like structure in front of the facility that has a manhole cover on it. It used to have a lock chain tied around it, but it opens easily enough. The man says, I tried to go in there myself, but the tunnel is collapsed further up the way.
That is problematic.
By the way, while Sori's being led off by Mr. Mexican, Silas has actually gone into the room where the kids were and crouched down and waved. He's trying to basically reassure them and console them. He's trying to be a good human being.
Okay.
In comparison to Captain Stab Happy.
That's a learning experience for the both of you.
Go ahead and roll against empathy.
You know that Santo is going to gun them all down, right?
I know that. Silas doesn't quite know it yet. Empathy. Where is empathy on this blasted sheet?
I know it's not on Evans.
Is it? Tell me it's not a skill.
Ironically, Sasori does have quite good empathy. He just doesn't care anymore.
All right. So is it a skill?
It is a skill, yes.
I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what the default is for you.
I don't
Oh my god, you're a
have the.
sociopath.
Yes, I don't have the empathy skill.
Erotic
And
art. No, it's not that.
I'm the good one.
Hey, if I was there, I'd be giving him free medical help right now.
Oh no, it's an advantage. There's something else that's used, I guess.
To be fair, if you were here, you'd also take a lot of issue to, them being shot in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I would. I might actually try and, level my 12 gauge or 10 gauge at you.
Really sure you're going to do that for no apparent reason?
Yes.
Is there at least a reason other than, for the lulz?
Well, yes, because you can't have them getting away and dead men tell no tales.
That's not true. There's all kinds of things. Like forensics and whatnot. Well, hang on.
Yeah. Shall we assume perception, maybe? Or
I think I'm going to use psychology. Empathy is an advantage, it turns out, that gives you a bonus.
Okay.
Intelligence -4 for you.
Here's my question.
-4.
Evan, here's my question. How far do you want to be, a fathomless dick?
I failed by... Actually, hang on. Did I fail? Hang on. I needed an 8. No, I succeeded by 1.
Despite your imposing and robotic appearance, the child sort of shrinks away at first and then sort of regards you with wide open eyes. The baby seems not older than maybe 2, you would guess, and is not really fully able to articulate at this point, but you can see a sort of a smile, a pleasing smile crosses its face as it seems to have completely forgotten about what it had just witnessed, and sort of gurgles at you playfully.
I'm going to take out from my pocket like a bag of toffees and just give it some toffees.
Sasori has contemplated this. He could use a child. He could raise it as his own.
My question is, Evan, how much of a dick do you want to be?
They took McCastle.
They didn't take nothing. Take it up with the GM. My question is, or my statement I'd like to point out is I do need test subjects. Now that's horrible, and I'm not suggesting it, but I am letting you know that it's something I do.
Oh my god, yes, we could feed babies Zyme and see what happens.
Well, actually, the babies would probably be better for child soldiers. I mean, not that we do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to check something. Silas is armed, correct?
Oh yeah.
Good. Want to double check that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you are looking to...
I'll just take into account if we involve doing child test subjects. I'm going to hack the Pentagon and I'm going to nuke us.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm just saying,
I could survive a nuke. I just want everyone to know that.
And there's also a good chance that if Sasori has the gun pulled on the baby, Silas will pull a gun on Sasori and be fully willing to try and shoot him in
And
the
thus
head.
we suddenly enter a very different game session.
I would also like to ask, where are me and Winston and all this? Are we going towards them, or?
I believe we were wanting to regroup.
You landed behind a mesa?
Last time I heard, you were trying to not die.
Yeah, well, we survived that. We survived not dying. Then what? Because, we're trying
It's
to...
up to you. Did you want to decide to make your way to the gas station and take the fuel line entrance in, or did you want to attempt to enter on foot down through the valley?
I'll ask Winston.
Well, we want to regroup with our guys first.
Okay, so then we're heading back towards the gas station.
Okay.
Just so that, because I want to make sure we didn't get forgotten.
And then we can catch any trouble between us and them, and then we can make a nice entrance.
Right, and I would imagine Grog and your others, you're headed straight in, right?
Yeah, after a minute of nothing, no one's talked to us or anything. We just go in.
Well,
Gonna gun down everything that moves that doesn't match directly with what we're supposed to be looking for.
Well, I'm going to be connected to your TACnet, and you're going to be connected to my TACnet, and basically all you guys also have TACnet, so we're all looking awesome. So I'm pretty sure you'll be aware of what I'm doing, and I'm going to be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TACnet will come into range in a moment when you guys get within about, I want to say, 2 miles of the gas station. So you're not in TAC yet, communications yet, but you will be soon. Infolink is down, so you don't have it as comm space backup.
Cool.
So, let's go back to the gas station. You're outside now. The man is pointing to you at the concrete entrance and manhole, sort of clutching at his bleeding shoulder.
Agreeable. Sasori will kind of kneel down. He'll put he'll tap a because I've seen these, so I'm going to assume I can have one because I have one of these in real life. He taps a portion on the back of his boot, so the back of his boot kind of clicks open. And he will withdraw, because we have said that bulbs can exist in a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
He will
Basically,
withdraw.
thumb drives.
Yes, he will withdraw the equivalent of, say, 20,000 bulbs and throw it into the man's face and simply say, "You have 5 minutes to get out of my sight, or you and your family will die."
The man looks at the thumb drive for a moment, eyes wide, and then nods obediently and without a word runs back into the house. And so he sticks his head around behind you where you're squatting down, Silas, and says, "My wife, we must go."
Silas will actually pick up the child and pass it to the woman, making sure that the child has the toffees.
Yeah, the child is sort of fiddling with the wrapper at the moment, not really knowing what to do with it, but it stretches a little chubby arm around the mother's back of her neck and sort of holds on and sort of tucks his head in instinctively as she's muttering things to her children right now. "Come on, we have to go. She's very, very worried, almost panicking herself. She's very thin, this woman, but she looks like she's sort of on edge all the time. And she sort of grabs one of the kids around the dark heads of her pigtails and sort of rolls up the bed sheets, and then they all exit out the back.
Silas will actually shush them out the doors as fast as he can.
They sort of look up into the sunlight as they get afterwards, wondering for a moment where to go, but not wanting to linger any longer, they begin to make their way down the road.
He actually takes out his phone and quickly makes a phone call. Basically, I'm assuming there's like a text taxi service.
We have no signal here whatsoever.
In that case, can I get a GPS signal?
Yeah, you know your GPS coordinates.
In that case, he will make a GPS. He will make a note of the GPS, and then essentially put like a text in sort of like waiting, essentially. Of the minute I get a signal, send this, and it's just basically a message to the nearest taxi service saying, "Drive along this road, look for people matching this description, take them to nearest town."
Okay.
He's trying to be a decent human being.
Sir, you're playing the wrong game.
You can be decent or you can be evil. It's up to you guys.
You can be decent or you can be survive. Your choice.
Right. So the rest of you have made your way to the gas station. The door has been kicked off its hinges, but you see Sasori standing next to an open manhole cover in the center of the gravel lot. There's an upended gas sign here emerging sort of out of the dirt.
And to think, there were those who once claimed that this... The Thori flicks his wrist kind of in a nonchalant manner. This great titan, this juggernaut, built upon this fleeting resource, would rule eternal a world of its own creation. How pathetic do the mighty fall to their knees.
Silas just leans over. "You're talking in metaphors again, boss."
Oh.
And he just leans away.
The open manhole cover seems to be about 3 feet abreast. There's enough for you to basically more or less stand up on your knees were you to decide to crawl through it. There's also, you can see fuel line piping coming from overhead with an open spigot and a dry, dusty line that doesn't actually appear to contain any liquid gasoline. I'll get back to you in a second, Grog.
I will quickly remove all the explosives from one of my drones and send it down there.
Okay. You are going to need to pilot the drone manually in the narrow space. Do you have the appropriate skill for that? I forget what
I have forward observer.
That was the one. Okay.
I have forward observer, so yes.
Yeah, I remember we decided before that's the one we're going to use for drone piloting. So go ahead and roll against that.
So that's 5 and 6. That's 11, and I was rolling against a 13. So I succeeded by 2.
Okay. You managed to pilot your quick little drone slowly down the corridor. It doesn't contact the walls of it or anything, but it starts to get a little bit more difficult as some of the mud and rocks below sort of sweep their way into the spillway. Eventually you come across the place that the guy was talking about. It's not hard rock that blocks this area of the piping. It's just open sand, and you can actually see sunlight streaming in from the side.
Right. Bring drone back to me. Back up the pipe. Take drone.
Okay.
I will relay the information to Sasori. Relay.
I'm not sure if Evan is here, so this is probably a good time to cut back to Grog.
Right, yep.
Let me show you what you see here.
Hobos, please be hobos.
The base looks suspiciously like the basic set.
Oh my god, it has body sense?
Here we go.
It can also use bolus.
I want to say it's now about 7:30 in the morning. So there's a heavy mist coming up from the bay that will aid you in your stealth. There's some sign from your vantage point of figures moving below. You can see a truck, and you can see something giant in the far vicinity where you can see on this page here. You see where it has the USA American flag?
Yeah.
Inside of that facility, which is probably about 7 feet tall, is something that fills basically the entire space. It's about 70 feet high and walks on 4 legs. And
I'm about to steal that, BR. I'm about to steal that.
Okay.
Make with the thieving time. Stealth. I want.
Okay, so from where you're standing, there are sort of 2 main approaches. There's sort of the dam-based area where they have water, or at least at one time they had water coming into and out of, and then there's just the main road and the hills that surround it.
I'm gonna use the hills and the ground cover, of course, because it looks like there's a bunch of dips in the hills.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make it into the heaviest part of the fog before shooting at a 45-degree angle to my target.
What is your target? The mech?
Yes. I want. Like that's all that's going through the TAC net.
Okay.
In orders to shoot and kill anything that tries to stop me. I want.
There is... Okay, so 2 things. Let's get perception, and let's get stealth from you.
Alright, so my stealth is at a... Alright, so you're taking lots of penalties. I'll just tell you what I roll if it matters.
Yeah, well, there's going to be separate types. There's going to be one person on the radar. There's going to be another person who's patrolling outside. So we'll just do with the core roll for now.
If there's someone that's using each type of thing, then they're at a -4, because I have everything across the board at -4.
Okay.
Some stack, but... How
What are
does
you
a
having them
4
do to the
sound?
mech?
I'm stealing it.
I
A
mean,
4 sounds like a critical success to me.
Nice. You make your
I
way
make
to
up
the.
for 15.
Okay, can you go ahead and roll perception for me?
Oh. Suck.
am I going to see Grog with like a bunch of his squaddies just run past me carrying the mech, going ha
Yes.
ha ha ha?
Yes, you are in fact.
Carrying a 50 to 70 foot tall mech. Hey, it followed me home. Can I keep it?
Well, I don't know, son. Are you willing to clean up after it?
That's a 6, which is not a crit. It is, however, a succeed by 4. I do have some bonuses to perception. That lets me see through darkness. I can see infrared. Target tracking. I have the whole 9 yards.
Okay. You see a figure set up in one of the nearby towers like this. There's what you recognize as the communications array. And then there is a group of black-jetted soldiers that are sort of stalking around the courtyard. And you don't notice the familiar inscribings of any PMC you recognize.
Don't care. Stealing mech.
Okay. You are at the courtyard right now, so you have more or less a straight shot from the hangar. There's a couple of patrols that you dodge by easily. And you make your way outside the hangar that once held a giant United States space shuttle that now holds a giant mech. And we are going to cut back to our group at the gas station. So Silas's drone has retrieved the approximate location of the cave-in that's sort of filled with a few pounds of dirt. Shouldn't be too difficult to clear out by hand if you decided you wanted to.
Right. That does mean going back down there with shovels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a shovel on my helicopter.
Did the drone definitely show there was, like, no gasoline down there?
Yeah, there are pipelines that run through the spillway that are sort of encased inside basically a service entrance that you guys are going through. And it didn't see any evidence of it.
Right. How much fuse would it be reasonable for me to carry? In length?
I was assuming with the kind of plastic explosives that you were using that you would set it off via an electrical charge. So it's like a little thing that you tape on there that jolts it with a spark of electricity, and you can have maybe 4 of those.
Okay, I will use one of them, attach it to a drone, and basically I will have the drone go down there, drop it, and fly back out. I'm trying to essentially shove the sand away, like try and clear a path, without necessarily igniting anything that might be down there.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and roll your forward operation or whatever it's called.
Forward observer. That's a 9, and I needed to roll under a 13, so I succeeded by 4.
Okay, the drone sets the charge, and you wait until it fully exits the tunnel to avoid the blowback. It's not long before a low thud reverberates underneath the ground as it shakes just a little bit. And as you poke down there with the drone, you can see that the dirt has been more spread out than removed. A fair amount of it was ejected. As all of you guys could see, about 500 feet in front of you, there was this little ejection of dirt near where the cave-in was. It spread out the dirt, I think, enough outside and inside of the tunnel that some of it is starting to seep back in, but you can crawl over it now.
Ah, good. Proceeding to crawling. Dunk, dunk,
Okay.
dunk, 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 dunk.
So I'm assuming all of you are going to follow suit, yes?
Well, at the moment, as far as I know, it's just me and the two-faced man.
Wyatt and Truliot are there.
Yo.
Oh, they've
Oh.
caught up, have they?
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
we are?
Yeah, I mentioned a little while back that you saw Sasori standing next to the open manhole and so forth. So all of this is Iceli for you.
Oh, okay. I thought that it was for the rest of the group. Okay. Cool.
Right. So
We landed.
yeah, you guys have caught up with us. So yeah, assuming you guys are following us into the crap hole.
Am I in range of the TACnet?
You are in range of everyone except Grog and his team.
Okay. Well, that's going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Shall we proceed?
Sure. Oh, I have night vision goggles and a flashlight. Which should I use?
You could probably get use out of both of them, honestly. I mean, parts of the tunnel are so dark that it is actually impossible to see even with night vision.
Okay, I'll bring my heavy flashlight.
Alright, you all shimmy into the open manhole cover. It's a tight squeeze, especially for Silas, but there's enough room for you to crawl on your stomachs and for the rest of you on your hands and knees. You sort of roll over the dirt and try not to snag your elbows on any hard metal that's been rusted over the ages, and you sort of shrink down as you pass by the caved-in section, the harsh light streaming through on your exposed faces and hoping no one spots you. As it seems like no one does, and as you get closer to the base, after what seems like an eternity, tucked away in this tight cavern, you can feel and hear the sound of boots, and as you look up, you'll notice that there is actually a thin grating, and you're pretty sure that nobody's actually going to be able to see down in here, but they might hear you if you make too much of a noise. And you can hear the sounds of movement going back and forth above you.
And stealth. And stealth.
Just going to do a quick roll here.
Can I play a song of competency?
Their attention seems to be focused on other things. Eventually you make your way to the end of the spillway to another manhole cover, and Winston slowly pokes his head out, sort of lifting it up just a little bit, and from here you can see boots facing away from you, about 35 feet towards the center of the base. And in front of you is the quad legs of some sort of giant metal mech that from where you're sitting you can't even tell quite how high it goes up. But you would guess that you are now inside the shuttle bay.
Okay. We're at our location. And yet every voice inside me screams, can I remotely hack the mech?
Stealth, run, get, mine.
Oh, let's face it. What would be really hilarious, Grog, is if you start sealing it and then Winston hacks it. So the mech starts fighting you.
Steelception.
Jesus Christ! It looks like it could fly. It's got jet engines on the back.
Yeah, those tiny things that you see on the bottom there, those are wheels, about the size of an 18-wheeler, so you can just sort of scale up from there.
Oh!
Yeah. How the hell do you propose to carry that thing back, Grog?
I thought you said it as self-destruct after you caused a bunch of damage.
Oh hell no! I've got some places that need bombing.
I hope that thing can fly.
If you can get the schematics for it, would be way more useful to us.
That's true.
Then we can...
Yes. So sorry, just kind of tacknetting the messages, but it's like this is not expected.
Since you're within tacnet range of me, you now have now your entire screen is just going mine, like just line after line.
I should also repeat that the robot wishes to make this his one true love.
Yeah.
Yes.
The people in the crowd, like the people who are lining up.
Not to interrupt, but Evan says he had to go to bed because he is sick.
Oh, good.
Alright. Okay. I'm just wondering. The people who are lining up, they're all facing away from our manhole cover, correct?
Yeah, you can't even see them from here.
Right.
I mean, there's a group of people just sort of milling about in the courtyard. Those are the boots that are facing away that I was referring. The people are outside the comms tower. These ones, which I will show you in a second.
Okay, I will send a TACNEC message or whatever to our robo friend, basically saying, where are you in relation to Big Robot?
You can see a pip from his vision, and if it wasn't for that, you probably would have no idea, but he appears to be approaching the shuttle bay at a very rapid clip as well.
Right. Is he going to be in a position where the people who are milling around will see him?
They ordinarily would, but he's very much aware of their presence and has ducked around them.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I may cause a slight distraction.
Don't cause. Do not.
Mine.
They cause a slight distraction for us.
Yes,
I don't know if you guys can see my mouse here, but just for, you see where it says SL6 integrate on pad?
Yes.
That's where you guys are at. You're at the bay. And then if you follow the road that goes over to the left where it says orbiter maintenance and checkout,
Yeah.
that's where the other team that I mentioned is sort of patrolling around.
Right.
So those of you who are still inside the spillway, go ahead and roll stealth for me, assuming you would like to pop out.
Mine.
I don't want to peek out just yet.
Okay.
I succeed
I am,
by
however,
a factor of 6.
I am, however, by the way, drawing my gun, and I'm assuming there's like grating nearby.
Yeah, there's like a 4 or 5 inch wide sort of chain that used to house the thing that they used to pull the shuttle out. And you can sort of see around that.
I'm basically going to be like, I'm going to put myself in a position where I could just about see through it, but I'm not like in any line of sight. Take out my gun and basically press it like up through the hole.
Okay.
So, and then look at Winston, and send him a quick message saying, "Let me know when the bot gets here."
Will do.
This is my distraction. One shot. My theory is, in a place like this, the shot will echo like a bitch.
Yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Why not?
Just to let you know,
Because
if you
it's a
fuck this up,
bad
the robot will kill you if he does not get this.
Because it's a bad idea. Just don't do it.
What else do you propose we do? The robot's going to run in and start stealing a mech.
So?
Yeah, you wait for him to steal the mech, then you get what you want, because I'll be busy fighting and killing everything.
Quick TACNEC message. We're going to die. Dot.
No, we're not. Just literally do not attract attention to us. I'm gonna sneak out now. Be right back.
Okay. You already rolled your stealth and said you succeeded, right?
Yeah, by a factor of 6.
Keeping low, you fly in the manhole covered one side, silently holding on to it and then slipping it back into place as you roll forward on your stomach and duck over for the nearest cover. There's no telling when you can come across somebody who will see through your thermopic camo. You're in the bay behind a toolbox kit. It's one of those drawers that has all sorts of wrenches and things inside it. There's lots of... The inside of this part of the base looks like a sort of machinist's workshop or a car mechanic's den with lots of strewn about equipment, circuit boards and the like. Not an awful lot of people.
Wonder what they've been doing here.
But yeah, a sudden
Yes.
thought has struck me. I may be Can you just explain to me in short detail what the TACNET is?
The TACNET is like a local area network that piggybacks off of your augmented reality vision. It transmits signals on a secure frequency between everybody else who's on the TACNET, and therefore it doesn't depend on any sort of network backbone.
Right, so my question becomes, is there a way for me to verify that the other people in this area, like the enemy, can't be receiving any of our TACNET messages?
There's no... You could try scanning them for the sort of receiving equipment that would pick up said frequency. You're virtually certain, now that Rachel has sort of fixed your guys' info links, that no one can be listening in, because the signal is encrypted. But that doesn't mean that they won't necessarily detect transmissions.
Right. I'm going to do the scanning for these equipment malarkey.
Oh, there's
actually-
another thing that I should probably say about the scanning.
Go on.
Well, go ahead and roll
I just
engineering
had
or...
a slight brainwave.
Mhm.
Could we send essentially a sort of, how shall I describe it? Something like a high-pitched screech over the Tacnet system, like an electrical screeching, so that if they were listening in, there would be some sort of reaction.
Go ahead and roll against engineering hardware if you've got it, or communication.
Mine.
I have... Hold on. I have engineer robotics, computer operation, computer programming, computer hacking, applied mathematics, applied computer science, mathematics, cryptology, mathematics. Are any of these related?
Cryptology might be.
Okay. And a 10, so I succeeded by 1.
Okay, by the way, Caleb says that his laptop is frozen. He's going to be back as soon as he can.
Right, yeah.
Typically, crypto surveillance equipment, while it does have a listener, it's not like the old days where you have like a sort of a person on standby with headphones on their head. Typically, if you were to send a high-pitched noise, what would happen is that the signal would appear to cut out. It would reach that peak volume, and then it would just come across as dead.
Oh no, I don't mean literally a high-pitched noise. I mean like metaphorically speaking, like something that would cause, like, a beep or a flash or some sort of signal from a machine to show that we were being listened into. I'm basically trying to figure out how best to work out if these bastards are aware that we are here.
I'm pretty sure they're not aware that they're here, or else those guys would turn around about now.
I mean, it seems like a wise supposition. There was all kinds of communications equipment littered all over the top of the base, but it's been disused for ages. And if what the collective told you was true, and most of the base is underground, that wouldn't exactly be an ideal listening post to begin with. And also, for the shits and giggles, since you've been scanning around, I'll tell you that it's having a hard time. Your signal's having a hard time getting underneath you. It appears that the whatever is underneath is heat shielded in some way.
Right. Does this piping go any further down?
It's a straight shot to the landing bay where you guys emerged. The only other way that you could have gotten out would have been where the cave-in was, and that wasn't even inside the base.
Probably an alternate entrance, which is what I'm going to start looking for.
Okay. Now it is Grog's turn. You've made your way inside the shuttle unnoticed, ducking past a couple of guards. You are now at its big toe.
Climbing!
And, you hear a low whirring noise as the machine's head sort of whips around in front of it. It seems to be scanning for something, but it hasn't noticed you yet.
Mine.
So you're going to try and climb up the thing?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay, roll your climbing.
Alright, and I do have grip boots. Do I even need to roll? Is it made of metal?
Yes.
Mine. Just right up the side. Mine.
The machine instinctively, almost animalistically, sort of makes another lower whirring noise and orients its front-facing camera directly at the position where you're climbing. It sort of lifts and tries to shake its leg. So, how much magnetic force do your shoes have exactly?
Enough to keep me from flying off into space, as well as to keep me grounded at 3 Gs. Or
Does
minus
it
3
have
Gs.
any sort of pounds or newtons written on your sheet?
Mm-mm. It's just 3 Gs is all that it
Okay.
says.
Roll your acrobatics, I guess.
Mine, as I vault to get higher. Mine. Alright, so that's a 8. My acrobatics is a 10, and the boots give me +2.
Okay. You managed to hang on just fine, sort of catching your center of balance and crouching down low next to your shoes as they gracefully stick to the side of the robot's leg. As you make your way further up near those pistons around its waist and vault yourself up, the bot seems to forget about you as it lumbers out of the rocket bay.
Mine. I'm going right to the control center right now.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while to climb.
Nothing.
I'm assuming you're climbing basically right towards the head, so that's going to take you about. That's going to take a few minutes. Okay.
While doing this stealthily too.
Yeah. So here's your map of the base, Winston. You've got that cluster of guards near the orbiter and maintenance checkout, which is in fact a comm center.
Mhm.
You've got small numbers of patrols around all of the other parts of the base.
Winston is within range to hack this thing when I get up to it, right? He's within TACnet, right?
He's within TACnet, but you're gonna have to get a closer look at its circuitry.
Will do, boss. Will do. Mine.
Yeah, this infiltration mission might end up in a mission from total annihilation.
So
I'm
you
sorry
have
if we
several
managed
other
to
places
get
at the
this.
base to search. You have the maintenance and checkout, you have deservicing, you've got the docks, you've got tank processing, and you've got the flight control center. There's also the
Okay.
processing and storage areas, but, you know.
I mean, there's a lot to kind of go on here, and to be perfectly honest, I could do the full thing and stealth and explore each individual one, but with the nature of potentially the giant machine of doom, that is probably going to stomp across any vision of not being noticed that I thought there would be. So we should probably focus on that.
Right.
You might have mentally broken the robot.
Mine. At this point, it's in all caps. Just
right on his
across your
shoulder, and I'm just fitting in here that we're naming it Mambo. And have you ever watched that part from I think Shrek 2 where you have the gingerbread man on the giant gingerbread man's shoulder?
Yes.
Mhm.
That
This
was my
might
thought
be
of that.
This might be a thing.
Alright, then. Well, Silas, what, if anything, do you want to do?
Well, I can't really do much up to this point because I'm the tech guy, and
Yeah.
I refuse to climb to the top of that damn machine.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to provide hardware insights when they do actually crack this thing open. But for now, are you going to hang out in the spillway?
Yeah, I will move along so that I'm positioned by the manhole, but still in the pipe.
I don't
So
suppose there is a discreetly located access or tech panel that says, here's bot access.
Oh, roll perception.
I'm
I
not the
succeed
best
by
at
one.
hacking, but I do have a complexity 8 software to help.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, what was your result?
I succeeded by 1 on a 12.
You don't see any easy access hatches. I mean, getting up close to it, a couple of things are clear. It's fairly old, though relatively well maintained, and that it is definitely a combat bot. It's got 2 giant guns on the front of it, and most of its underside is inaccessible. Really, the only part that touches the ground is those feet there. And you don't see any hatch. Your best guess would probably be somewhere on the head, but you're not sure.
Okay, I'll also take into account, like, I mean, in general knowledge of, like, a person who's done tech warfare and whatnot, the fuck is this thing?
You've never seen anything like it before. It's almost certainly military hardware of some kind, and it does have markings of Vandenberg Air Force Base emblazoned on its head.
Okay. Like, seriously, guys, what the hell?
The behemoth continues to rumble its way out of the service entrance and seems to be heading towards the main part of the base. Grog, you have reached the underside of the head. Now, climbing up the side of it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I am noticing a little bit of a ladder there. So, let's say that you're on top of it now.
Mine. Where's the entry point?
You don't see one from where you're at.
I'm gonna keep
The
looking
helmet
then.
is literally bolted shut, and the camera is actually part of its head. If you take a peek under its front plating, which is it rumbles around, but you can sort of get a peek underneath there. It's just sort of flush with the metal underneath. And there are two giant exhaust ports on the back.
I'm thinking that the very top part looks like, if there's any kind of the very top where it looks like it has freaking handlebars, it looks like the entranceway if there is something to actually get into this damn thing.
Yeah. Yay! Mine. Going around that side.
Are you
Mine,
talking
mine,
about the
mine,
bit that has like the two sort of eye slits on those tubes coming off the front? Like this part here?
Mm-hmm.
Those are guns.
Yeah, I thought that they
Go-
were guns. They
go
look like
up.
they look like the front of the cannon key on the Takitoriyamas.
North of the 23, back there, that looks like there could be an access port. Because there's
Yeah, I
a
was
little
gonna say, if this
round
is
thing
anything
right there.
like a Hideo Kojima boss, and all you have to do is shoot it in a giant red glowing fuck me light a few times.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We did bring a gap gun, but Jesus Christ.
So, what about that little port north of the 23? Like, to the right of the exhaust-looking port? Right there?
Sure, you shimmy your way up, and unfortunately it's a dent. Seems to have hit its poor little head on something.
Okay, keep going north beyond that, BR. Behind that little, what looks like a bar, there looks like there's something right. Well, you can't see my screen, damn it. It's right there, though. I can see it.
Now, on the
Yes,
in the
as you reach the back of the creature's head, you see something that looks like it might be sort of a bolted-on service entrance of some kind, but as you do, the exhaust ports sort of swivel in your direction. And I would like you to make a strength check for me, please. I know it's something you are good at, but this is going to be a contested roll.
Alright, so strength of 17 plus my bionics. I'm about to steal it, Braz. I'm about to steal it. Like 2 balls.
I'm already thinking of photoshopping like the 23s off it and replacing it with Mambo tags. You know, a nice little Camarilla symbol and like the front
By
of over there.
10 BR.
By 10?
Yeah.
Your strength is what, like 15-ish, 16?
17 plus my plus the shoes plus my
Yeah.
bionic arms.
Now I'm considering all of that. You just barely are able to hang on. You slide sort of off the back of the side of the creature and catch your hand on one of the railings that stick out as the exhaust just sort of floods over you with the gust of a hurricane. And the creature sort of lumbers up and begins sort of shaking its head.
Mine! Crawling back. Mine!
Anger fuck BR. So he succeeds by 10 and still only barely hangs on.
Yeah. The creature has a
Jesus.
lot more strength than 17.
Oh yeah.
It's 70 feet high.
That's just his exhaust pipes.
Mine!
That's one hell of a gas attack.
Uh-huh. Okay, climbing check to climb against the exhaust and reach the panel on the back. And then a strength check to rip it off.
Climb check by 4 to get back on top of it.
Okay.
Now the strength check. Let's do this.
When I have an internet connection, I'm going to send a message to the collective going like, Jesus fucking Christ, what did you get me involved in?
Weep, beep, do, beep.
This is a robot
beep,
meant
no,
for
beep.
sieging cities!
That is a critical pass, BR. That was
Okay.
6, 11, 13, by 15.
The aged bolt sort of groan underneath the pressure, but with your cyborg strength, you fold it in half as if it were made of tissue paper, and you create an opening for yourself big enough to jump through.
Mine!
You're in a room now, surrounded by cables. Most of them have been color-coded, though you're not sure exactly what they mean. Lights are sort of flowing into one other end of the room, where they sort of make their way into a tight cluster and then sort of descend into the bowels of the machine's hydraulics.
Well then. Silas! Mine! Help! Mine! Me! Help! Mine!
Find where the data connections is and tap us in.
Yes,
Yes,
Silence and Winston, go ahead and roll the relevant skills. The
Silence.
hardware.
Yeah, I'm a Doctor Who baddie now.
I said Silas.
No, you said silence.
No, I didn't.
I rolled an 8, I succeed by 8.
Also, I'm back. So just step away.
Welcome
hello,
back.
Wyatt.
What was I rolling against?
Things
BR?
got a little bit. Things got a little bit silly, Caleb. Mistakes are potentially being made.
That's fine.
What was I rolling against, BR?
This will be engineering computer hardware.
heard some of
Engineering,
them.
computer hardware. I have engineering robotics.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank the gods, because that means I succeeded by 2.
How did you do, Winston?
Well, I've got a skill of 16 and when it comes to this type of thing, and I rolled an 8. So
Okay. One thing that strikes both of you is that there doesn't seem to be any internal monitors as to how this thing is going. You're going to need some special hardware to actually receive a status update on the thing. You do, however, notice off the back of it that there's an awful lot of communications telemetry going through, and just by the sheer thickness of the cables, you would guess that most of this machine's AI is actually housed outside of the creature somewhere. It's probably an older device that was upgraded.
Could we then remotely interface a pilot, a heavily augmented pilot, or a robo-pilot in
We're
place of
basic-
the AI?
the plan is to replace the piloting over here with Grog.
Yes.
If you had specialized hardware, you could interdict whatever signal it's receiving, since you have hardware access to the machine. But you don't have or carry anything with you that would be nearly good enough to do that.
I have a Complexity 8 software. Could I try to hack into it by basically plugging directly into the line?
No, because essentially there is no computer on board to hack, unfortunately. So
Well,
yeah,
it's
while you can
receiving
cut into
signals
the...
somewhere.
Yeah, yes it is.
Can I
It's
interrupt the signal?
Well,
Or
the-
trace the
Basically,
signal?
your options at this point boil down to sabotaging the machine from the inside or trying to figure out where the signal is being broadcast from.
That's what I'm going to try to do then. I'm
Find
trying to figure
the-
out where the
find-
signal is.
find the main receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
So the plan is find the main receiver, replace the main receiver with you.
Alright, so I'm going to plant a robo bug in it. I'll mark that off my sheet. Those are fucking expensive. And then
I
you only
know.
allowed me to buy so many.
No, I think you misunderstand. You can't bug the thing. You don't
No,
have
I'm
the
placing
specialized...
I'm placing a bug
Just a
in
regular
it.
microphone? Okay.
Yeah. I'm placing a
Alright.
bug in it so that I can find where I need to be again.
Sure.
Or send my own signal back into this thing.
Yeah.
To tell the bug
Gotcha.
what to do. And then I'm going to ping my sonar and my audio sonar. See if I can't get a idea of where it's located, the object that's sending the signals.
It is difficult to tell from inside the machine.
I will climb slowly back out, enough to ping.
Okay. You pop your head out of the control tower, and from your vantage point, go ahead and roll perception vision for me.
Okay.
By the way, since it's being remotely controlled, can I scan for the signal that is remotely controlled unit?
That's what we're doing
have
right now.
infravision.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
You too, Silas, if you've got it.
If I've got what? Sorry.
Any sort of radio frequency or high-end frequency vision.
I have none of that.
I have an actual scanner, if I remember right.
I have a bionic eye, but I have bionic eyes rather, but they just like let me zoom in on shit.
Yep, I do have a monitoring mini scanner. Okay. Either way, it's only a success by 1.
Mine's a success by 5.
So Winston, you find out that there's all kinds of radio communications going all over this place. It looks like there's just your vision lights up with a rainbow of colors. You monitor the oscilloscope, and you can see in the frequency ranges there's lower frequency range spikes that you would guess are the foot soldiers, but you're not entirely sure. And then there is a massive amount of signaling coming from the clear crystal control tower at the flight control center. The rest of the other stuff is just receivers, so it doesn't show.
Okay. I might need to make our way to the flight control center. We can... How wide, big an area is this?
I would say from one end of the facility to another, it's maybe 2.5 square miles.
Okay. So, Silas.
Yep.
We're going to need to make our way through the base and start actually looking for our objective while the robot gets to work on that thing. I'm thinking it's the main amount of communications is coming from the flight control, so it might be worth getting us over there, tapping into there, and then we'll be able to get the intelligence on the internals of the base and the communications within, and then we can potentially examine all communications and find out where our people are.
Sounds like a good idea.
So let's go and make that happen.
Right.
Okay, so the 3 of you, I'm assuming Wyatt in tow, you've started to come down a little bit more, by the way. You're only at a -1 after getting some well-needed shut-eye.
What?
you said you passed out in Facebook,
yeah.
so...
Yeah, that's what it made the most sense. And also, I don't make any noise during that period.
You guys make yourself out of the spillway and slide the manhole cover quietly into the center of the facility. You're crouched behind various toolboxes and benches inside of the shuttle bay right now. You wait for the opportune moment when the 2 guards in front of you pace back onto the railroad tracks towards the center part of the facility. You're able to make your way down the road towards the orbiter maintenance and checkout. Most, if not all, of the guards are in front of you now, wandering between the various outdoor facilities without a care in the world. You notice the same unusual sort of... it's hard to tell from here whether it's body armor or a uniform with the pointed angular designs in black colors. The only thing that's different from that photograph there is missing any sort of barcodes or logo identification.
That is interesting indeed. Is there any actual benefit to that? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, angled armor like that is actually... okay. Confusing.
You might reason that it may be difficult to scan. It does remind you of the design of an SR-71, but you haven't tested it yet.
It's just that with angles like that, it's completely useless against... well, less useful against bullets. You want bullets to be able to ricochet hard angles that tend to be more prone to penetration.
Right? And can you imagine if you tripped on one of those?
Yeah, I mean, goddamn.
Okay.
These are strange individuals indeed, and...
The orbiter maintenance and checkout belies its age. Half the building is under a tarp right now, half of which is sort of blown and ripped away. On the front of it, there are two very typical garage-looking, low-to-the-ground sort of entranceways into this part of the facility, around
Ooh.
which the paved road continues.
With the top half open, it's a good little hiding spot for me to get my companions into where they won't be spotted. I'll pop in first, make sure that's secure, and then it's a good little hiding spot for them.
Sure. The tarp appears to be caught on the side of the building. It's stretched more or less tight, but on the ground level around the left-hand side of the building, there would be enough for a companion or three to sneak in, and no one would notice the gap.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good spot. Then we can also check of anything inside there. I'm assuming it's mostly a decommissioned building, but you never know if there's some old thing potentially that they've forgotten about. And then we can make our plan to the next area and the following area.
Yep. As you make your way around the front from behind the tarp, you can see that there's about 3, I want to say maybe 4 guards congregated in front of orbiter maintenance and checkout. One of them has got a welding torch of some kind and is cutting their way through the garage.
What, they're making their way inside?
Yeah.
But we want to make our way inside. Those bastards. So they're clearly invading force then.
Either that or the thing. They couldn't get the darn thing open.
Okay, well, we'll observe them for now.
Okay. It's not long before one of them cuts a semicircular hole in the corrugated steel, and the men just sort of rush into the cavity as they do. One guards the entrance behind them, and you can hear the sound of more swearing from the inside.
Well, now that I'm reasonably close, I'm going to assume that they've got their own communications between them. I would like to basically scan for the signal that they're using and tap into their communications line, now that I'm reasonably close.
Sure. You've got the frequency that they're transmitting on, and as expected, when you tune in, it's just an absolutely garbled mess. You can make an attempt to decrypt it with hacking.
Yes, I shall do. I succeed by 6 with the 10. I also have cryptology, if that helps.
You do. You can tell from what you've gotten that it's very good encryption. There's none of the typical handshake capture methods work, so you're not able to get an offline key code that you can then work on later. And without your botnet, no way that you can crack the communications, though you can interrupt them.
That's interesting. I just say a little side idea. Can I start recording it?
Yeah. The thing is that what I was saying there with the handshake is that some encryption methods, what they do is they broadcast unencrypted packets. Occasionally, they broadcast pieces of the original key as a sort of check-in every now and then to make sure that the communications are still properly encrypted, or to rotate that frequency. This has been specifically designed to protect against that. So you can capture a lot of encrypted data, but normally what you would do is just capture and crack the handshake and then use that to decrypt the data.
Oh no, this is my idea for jamming it. Is if I can record some of the kind of the same type of data that they're encrypted, I can then load it into my jammer, garble it, and I'm basically can transmit data that kind of makes sense but doesn't make sense to them in any way, shape, or form.
All you need to do to jam it is to transmit along the same frequency. You don't have to do anything with the data that's actually being transmitted.
Yeah, but the idea is to jam it with their own communication, so they potentially can't track down what the jammer is.
With the margin of success that you got, you're pretty sure that that isn't going to work, because unless it's preceded by the right sort of, hey, I'm a new source, you can accept communications from me.
No, I'm not trying to crack the communications. I'm trying to find a way to break the communication.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You're trying to do it with their data stream.
Yeah, I'm trying
it
to
will
force
detect that it's coming from a new source,
Yeah,
and it will
I
just
know.
basically ignore it without the handshake.
Okay, fair enough. I was just trying to think of if I could use their own way that they're transmitting data, trying to force them off of that channel, essentially.
If it was a less secure network, there are definitely networks that would be vulnerable in that way, but this one is not. You can jam it, however, in the traditional way.
Okay, well, they're jamming on the traditional way, but it looks like if I actually want to get some bits, I'm probably going to have to kidnap one of these guys and take his stuff.
You're looking at one guard outside next to the entrance. The other 4 have gone inside, and there's a few patrolling the courtyard, walking back and forth out here.
Chaps, just going to let you know, I'm going to go to bed.
Okay.
You have my sheets of any rolls are needed.
I'm thinking we've been going for 4.5 hours, which is longer than usual. Do you guys figure now is a good stopping point?
Yeah. We've got a mixture of things, a lot of things going on, but at the same time, yeah, it's been 4.5 hours.
And a nice suspenseful moment to stop.
Sure.
But also means that we can mentally prepare our actual plan to carry on going.
Yeah, this is episode 9 of Game of Robones.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll put the additional information that you guys got from the Juggernaut Collective onto the Facebook group. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Bye-bye.